Don't get cocky.
Ring, 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 hello, simps and virgins.
God damn it.
Happy Finnish Independence Day.
Oh.
And welcome back to Krown's Magical Perturbation Cave.
The Perturbation Cave is back. A good day for Perturbtions as we get prepared for this next week to come. Talking about more short-term time frame analysis today in comparison to yesterday's long-term time frame analysis, of which that is still available for anyone to view at any moment in time that they do desire. And we got plenty to talk about today as Bitcoin opens up the week for CME. Uh-oh. Anyways, I don't want to give too much away right now, but I do want to wish you a happy and healthy start to this nice little Monday. Yeah, have a nice Monday life. Have a nice Monday in your life is what I mean to be saying. I'm going to turn off the alerts over here. I'm going to turn up this over here. And I think we're good to go right now as I make sure that everything is steady on my side. Running with a few new things, a few new pieces of equipment here too. So please do, I please do apologize. I apologize if there's any issues with it. And please just let us know if there's something that's like obviously like a glaring issue. Anyways, holy shit, man. I see a lot of people in here right now. I see already over 1,000 people with 350 likes. I think that's a new record actually, right when the video does start, so that is insane. Major thank you for that, and major thank you for the support on yesterday's video and the prior video on this weekend as well. That was just incredible. Really generous from the community, and I just have nothing but love for that, man. So massive thank you for that. What's up, Mr. Nimbo? I see over there another Crypto Sims episode coming in today actually, and I see Cobius. What's up, Mr. Cobius? I see Philosophy in. I see New 510. I see Philson, Mr. Philson, Rocky G, our lovely moderators over here. Bimmer, good morning to you as well. Hex Outlaw, I recognize you, sir. I recognize you, sir. Elsa's even here as well. She's up in the early morning hours. David and Neil, and who else do we have? Kyle McDonald just joined the cave. Oh, fuck. I should also let you know, and hello, Miss Jeannie, Gohan's mom. I should let you know, when you do join the channel, that little join button on YouTube, there is a specific, just kind of very basic TA and trading 101 playlist for you there, if you so desire. So I just want to make sure that the people who actually are subscribed to this channel, I think it's like $5 or whatever it is, just as like a quick little thank you for that. It is there for you to view at any moment in time that you desire. And also I need to make an announcement on this one as well. Instagram, for the people who've been following me on Instagram, I sincerely apologize that for whatever reason, the scammers on Instagram have decided to target my account, which is fucking hilarious because it's a very small account to begin with. It's only like 2,000 or 2,500 people right now. And they're messaging everyone, essentially suggesting that they can trade for you and all that good stuff. Look, I'm never going to message you to trade your account. I have no interest in that. Not because I don't love you, but because I am more than happy to be trading my own account. I have my hands full doing that to begin with. So there is no secret fund, no nothing like that. And I hope that that can clear a few questions up because I've been getting a few questions about that. And let's get into the Krown Chain application now, which can be found at app.krown.net. And we do see the fear and greed index is at the lowest level that we have seen now in about 2 to 3 months, I do believe. This is extreme fear at about an 18 read. Of course, we do expect this to stay low here for a little bit more time, but we are starting to get closer and closer to what I do think is probably going to be the next major low if Bitcoin is going to end up being bullish. I mean, it's still very likely take some time to kind of reference yesterday's video. If you don't want to go through the full 30 minutes of it, probably looking at about a month for Bitcoin to put in about a low, somewhere around there, I'd say more like 3 to 4 weeks on average here. Anyways, with that said, we got top 10 best coins coming in, and there's actually some winners in the last 24 hours. A very small amount. That would be BAT, Basic Attention Token, and also Algorand as well, with almost double digits on both of them. Pancake Swap also up there, and the rest of them, oh man, the rest of them are fucking stable coins. Oh, that's great, man. That's a really good fucking sign. Let's go to the market data tab over here, and what do you know? The global funding rate has flipped massively negative. So we've been trending down basically ever since middle of October when Bitcoin hit back above $60,000, and now it is officially massively negative. So you are getting paid to hold your long positions. Now, of course, when you are getting paid to hold your long positions and your long positions are likely underwater, doesn't mean shit, but it does offer up the potential for bear trap opportunities. I don't think that this is happening today or tomorrow or likely even this week, but overall, I would be looking at this as a good indicator, kind of see how mature we are within this current segment of the market cycle, which I am still looking at as major consolidation. Although short term it is bearish, obviously. Anyways, global leverage ratio take a massive dumbola from all-time highs at about 0.225%, which you've never even seen before, all the way down now to about 0.169% or 168%, which is a pretty damn good dump off right there. And then of course the global open interest, which I'm referencing in this pane right here, which I'm going to remove my face for a second, you can see has taken the biggest, baddest dump that we've pretty much seen in a 1 day period ever. Actually even better than what we did see in the May dump, although this one was a little bit more aggressive within a shorter amount of period of time, to be fair. That one obviously went on for a longer period of time, but still, I do look at this as, somewhat of a healthy reset within this market. Can we come down more? Yes, of course. I mean, we can wash out, many more positions, obviously. But for right now, it is the shorts that are once again being more on the aggressive side, which is evidenced by the global funding rate. And now we can match that up with the open interest. And well, that's kind of where we're at right now. And we see actually something very interesting here as well. Global exchanges net flows is negative almost 20,000 Bitcoin. So we did see over the weekend, we saw inflows of about 16,000 and 17,000 Bitcoins, which were the biggest inflows that we saw basically going back to the summer, in fact, before that good old dumpola, or maybe not good old dumpola for a lot of people out there. And then now those coins look like they are leaving exchanges yet again. So that would imply that, long-term people probably are using this to accumulate a little bit. Doesn't mean that is destined to be a major macro low, but it does kind of offer up a little bit of a back-end sort of view on what's going on behind the scenes here, which is good. But as always, what matters most? Price action, of course. What matters most? Price action, obviously. Always. That's where you're marked off in your P&L, and that is what everything is based off of, essentially. But I do want to just quickly reference the Fear and Greed Index over here. Again, we haven't seen these levels essentially since the September $40,000 low. And of course, the only time that we were lower than that in the past year was over the summer, when Bitcoin was putting in about 3 months lows in the $30,000 range. So with that in mind, I'm going to flip on over here into the price action charts. This is where everything's going on right now. And I want to start off with the higher term time frames for today, as this one's rather obvious. Let's go to CME chart, as we just got it opening up for last night. And what do we have right here? We have a nice major gap down, which does imply that I was going to say neckline, but last Friday's closure, somewhere right around about 52 to 53,000 bucks, is going to be a major pivot on the market going onwards and forwards here. And on first pass on a gap fill, I would be looking at that as probably, a bit of a pullback at very minimum, and probably a bit of a reversal, because overall CME did not see the same move. Obviously has not seen the same move that we already got on spot price action over the weekend, down to the 55 exponential average on the weekly right here. So with all of that in mind, we're likely to see a range this week. We're likely to see a range at, at most the upside somewhere around 52 to 53,000 bucks, and to the downside, somewhere around our current wick low. I do think that Bitcoin extremely likely does test around $45,000, anywhere between there and about 42, our current wick low. And if you are bullish, you are looking for essentially another sort of liquidity grab within that region, and a quick pick me up from that region as well. Similar to what you saw back on over here, actually. You saw this first major dump down, gets tested the next week, and then upwards and onwards. Great. That's excellent, right? Anyways, that would be the more bullish view on this one. Of course, CME, again, did not see that move. So overall, I do think that CME will also find some liquidity there as well, and very likely does bounce on another pass of about, let's say, 42 to 45,000 bucks. I understand that's a big range, but we are dealing with big numbers right here, and we are dealing with a weekly time frame. So naturally, those are going to be, large. So with all of that in mind, let's just see if anything else lines up with this current region, of which I am going to throw on my drawing tools. And let's just pop this in right on over here and see if this 55 target sort of aligns with anything else, of which we do see the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, which is going to be pretty much right around 45,000 bucks. So I would be looking for Bitcoin to kind of play between these over the next few weeks here. Depending upon whether you're bullish or bearish, you're essentially looking for $40,000 to break, or at least for me to be bearish, and that would be quite ugly. Obviously, that'd be incredibly ugly. In fact, below the 618 in this case, I would be looking for your gap fill, not to the upside, but to the downside next, probably back down to the mid to low $30,000 territory. Of course, we're very well and far away from doing that, and I want to be on record as saying that as long as Bitcoin is essentially trudging along this region above $40,000, I actually do still remain with a long-term macro bullish view. The reason being, quite simply put, just because of this, what do we see right here? We see, let's actually go to this chart. It's a little bit easier to see on this chart. We do see a volume signature that would imply consolidation. Going from left to right, we do see a curtailing volume, and that is coming to an apex somewhere around, around Q2 of 2022, which would imply that once we're in about 70 to 75% full in this, we do statistically are more likely to break, which would put us in about, late December, early to mid-January, something like that. And then, of course, we went back on over here and referenced this weekend's fun action, which I think I have on this chart. Let me just double check. I think it's on this particular one right here, or maybe this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. I went through and did a bit of a statistical analysis of the last few major consolidations that we have seen, and this does kind of line up with Wyckoff ideology, in the sense that typically the time that you spend in your in your consolidation phases, in this case, a distributive phase over here is typically what is required, or around that time is required for your accumulation phases. And you can kind of see that this is, more or less on par with each other. The 60-day distributive phase at basically the prior all-time high in March, April, May was about, 60 days. I just said 60 days, so fair enough. Sorry, my speech is already fucked up today. And of course, the summer, which was accumulation, spent about 63 days before the good old bear trap that we did see in middle to late of July. And then, of course, we did see a bit of a bull trap right on over here, 14 days. This one did take. And then the resolution on the next accumulation at that $40,000 level took about 10 days. And of course, our current distributive high was about 28 days. So if we are kind of making a relationship between that, we're probably looking at somewhere around a month, give or take a few days from that. It doesn't need to be exact, obviously. This one over here took a little bit less than the distribution. This one over here took a never so slightly amount more than the distribution in that case. So we're probably looking somewhere around there. And guess what? That would align with basically early January. And, anywhere within about a week of that is probably fine. So Bitcoin's likely to spend some time. And if I had to call it right now, I'd probably be looking at something like this. I don't think that there's going to be a major rush to get in or anything like that. And I do think that Bitcoin very likely does come back down and fill somewhere around our current wick low. Doesn't need to be exact down to 41 or 42,000 bucks, but overall anywhere around 42 to 45 would probably do it for me. And it's probably going to again require a bit of patience. I mean, look at the last time we saw this back on over here. That was of course coming off of the May dump on May 19th, when Bitcoin dumped out all the way from 45,000 bucks all the way down just below 30,000 bucks. And it wasn't until about a month and a half to 2 months later where it came back down and fully filled it. So it very likely does take some time. And in this case, I don't think that there's a major rush to get in any position personally for myself. But what would negate what I'm saying and make me immediately bullish and immediately want to be long as fuck, although I would not feel comfortable saying this on YouTube, to be quite honest with you. But the obvious area would be back above our last rejective high, which is 57,500. I would actually feel I'd feel very comfortable being extremely long above that region, personally speaking, just because of my own strategies and whatnot. But if you are playing structure here, then 54,000 bucks is technically your area, or basically around CME's gap, closing back above that region, which is on a closing basis more like 54,000 bucks, or technically 53.5 as well. So with all that in mind, I always want to be aware of what I'd be looking for if that were to be likely. But at the same time, is it probabilistic? I would say very unlikely, very unlikely. It's more likely to spend some time, going sideways and a little bit of downside in the interim here. And of course, if Bitcoin does break down below $40,000 and creates a lower low on the weekly, then I'm no longer macro bullish. I don't know if I'd go to full on macro bearish just yet, because we do not have a lower high on the weekly. So I'd be looking for a bounce into a lower high, and then I'd be rather happy to, be short as fuck. But until then, I do think it's going to be a waiting game, and you're going to see a lot of people on the crypto YouTubes and crypto Twitters get extremely bullish and extremely bearish. What? Oh yeah, I did forget to pin your message. Can you post it again, actually, and I can just pin it? Sir, it's not a big deal. Just copy and paste. It's all good. Anyways. It's the sign, sir. It's the goddamn sign. What's up, Kyle McDonald? Welcome to the cave as well, sir. There we go. I got it. The pin message is here. And there she is, Nikki Page as well. Our lovely moderators, keeping everyone safe in Safu. Fucking love it, man. Fucking love it. I even saw Alex Switch here, which I love to see, man. He's an OG of the cave. He knows this place better than, almost better than anyone else. Almost as well as myself, because he's been here, I think, just after me. Anyways, okay, so we spoke about all of that. Okay, we got that. Let's go look at momentum oscillators right here. I want to show off. I want to briefly just show off Caretaker's new work. I don't want to go too deep into this right now, but this is an indicator that I'm really fucking excited about, and this is going to open up a lot of possibilities going onwards and forwards. Basically, going over historical returns and making brackets with price action. Then we can use that to derive all sorts of other cool stuff, which I'm really looking forward to. Anyways, I don't want to get into that right now because it's it's a little bit less tangible than what we're going to be looking at right here. Okay, so Bitcoin on the daily is going to see, or very likely to see, daily SOX cross the downside again within the bearish control zone, and volatility is taken up right here, and that condition will be met today at 7 p.m. Eastern time if Bitcoin closes today below 50,350. If that happens, I'd feel a lot more confident saying that Bitcoin comes back down somewhere around 42 to 45,000 bucks first before trying for the $52,000 gap fill. Or sorry, it's more like $53,000 gap fill to the upside. And I do think that's more likely, to be quite honest with you. I do think that gap buyers are probably going to be left out here because this is a bit of a professional gap in this case to the downside. People don't like it when it's to the downside, but it is in this case to the downside. So more likely to get a continuation drive first before giving a bit of a try to the upside. So anyways, let's see. We spoke about that. Weekly, yep, 55 is kind of where I'm looking for. Again, basically as long as Bitcoin's above there, you do have your uptrend still. And by the way, this is actually rather important right here too. If Bitcoin can put in a local low anywhere above basically 40,000 bucks, or it's technically like 43,000 bucks, we actually would have hidden bullish divergence on that next weekly higher low, as we are already making lower lows on weekly RSI, which would be rather powerful. And that's exactly what you expect. And if you're in the program, if you're in the TA program, you know exactly how I trade the Krown cross strategy. Or maybe you don't, because I didn't make an announcement when I put up a new video on it. Hey, I put up a new video on it. It's called the Krown cross nuances. Do I? Oh, fuck. I forgot about the camera. My bad. There's my rat face. Welcome back, sir. I'm here. I'm fucking here. Anyways. You know, what I'm looking for on that is on the 55 on my corrective higher lows. I want to see that accompanied by hidden bullish divergence, typically on declining volatility. And we actually do still have declining volatility over here, which I forgot to mention earlier, which also does kind of align with the likelihood that we are still looking at a macro consolidation. And as long as the higher lows are present, I really don't have a reason to be, I guess, bearish macro, just, you know, short term, medium term. Obviously on the monthly, we see it coming down to the same levels that we did see, you know, well, not necessarily exactly the same levels that we saw in May 2020, the blast flu dump, but we do see anywhere essentially below the 30 percentile region as macro bases actually a lot of the time. In fact, all low volatility periods on the monthly specifically, not other time frames, but the monthly representing the macro, have typically been met with, macro accumulation and macro lows actually. So that is of particular interest to myself right here. So fair enough. Anyways, I think I have spoken my head off right now. I think it's time to get into the comments. I'm going to pop this up over here. Holy shit, man. I see that we already got a ton of comments in here. I see that we have a ton of people in here, 2,300 people with 820 likes. That is amazing. That is insane. What the actual fuck? I don't even ask for the likes on these videos. And it's, this is total community, which is just incredible. So major thank you for that. And major thank you for the help on this channel. It's been the best time ever. It's been the best fucking time ever, baby. All right, so let's get into the comments right now. I'm gonna pull up my chats over here and let's see what, oh my god, there's already so many. Oh dear lord. All right, here we go. Snacks is first today. Or is he first today? No, sorry. Expatriate is first today. Like an hour before the stream even started, man. That's playing with fire, sir. That's playing with a lot of fire right there. You did catch it. Yeah, you got it. Anyways, if any mod is around, please help me with a request for BOW USD 4-hour and daily. Oh, man. Okay, so BOW, never heard of this thing before, so this is going to be fun. This is going to be real fucking fun, huh? Okay, BOW on sushi swap. Wow, this is really good.
Your BOW is fucked. It will never go up again. It's only ever gone down. BOW USD. BOW down to better. Jesus. BOW talking to the crowd, baby.
Sorry. I can't help myself. But it's really bad. It's really fucking bad, man. Really bad. So while everything in this market was going to the moon and beyond for most of this year, the strong majority of this year, this thing's only been in a downtrend. This is, I suspect that this might be one of the worst tokens that we'll see today. This is fucking awful, man. At 4 hours in daily. Okay, so look, it probably does bounce up a little bit more here, maybe back up to like, what is it, 1,000ths of a cent. Somewhere around here is fine. Lower highs and obviously long-term macro bearish as long as you're below basically this level right here. It's like 0.00084 or so. I guess I have charted this one before. It's just been lower highs the whole way through, so nothing's really changed there. Short term, probably likely to bounce a little bit more here, but just terrible, man. Just fucking terrible. So as long as you're below this lower high, there is absolutely nothing at all whatsoever bullish about this thing. That's about 1/10 of a cent. So I'm kind of feeding you hopium right now, but hey, if this is your first higher low, maybe you see a bit of a maybe you see, you know, a macro reversal here. That's probably like the biggest hopium I could give you right now, but I want to be very clear in stating this. I do not think that that is likely to occur. But yeah, short-term bouncy, very likely does trade up a little bit more. Just be aware of where your lower highs come in, because I have no reason to believe that this thing is reversing now, unless it's like an inverted relationship to the rest of the market, which kind of is. Or it's not necessarily that it's inverted relationship. It just goes down, man. Pretty fucking bad, man. Again, I don't want to feed you too much opium here, but short-term, yes, it is bouncy. All right. Anyways, moving on to Mr. Snacks. He wants to look at AVAX USD. Yeah, let's check out AVAX. I think that this one is probably still pretty damn toppy, and probably still pretty damn toppy. Yeah, Larpline's definitely not gonna be working on this one, so we're gonna get rid of that shit. That is the biggest hopium right there. Anyways, short term, where are we at? Creating a new base right around the $80 marker, our last breakout levels from back in, what was this, like November? Yeah, early November in this case. So likely to put in a base around this region and probably try one more rally from it. Problem is that, well, you are in a reversal posturing as long as you're below 120 now, which is obviously a big and bad range, which in this case, well, let's actually see where the pain points on this one would be if you are looking for lower highs, where they're likely to kind of come in around. And 100 to 105 is kind of the kill zone on this one. To be fair, now short term, do I think that's probably going to bounce from here? Probably yes. You're looking at a 2-day and a weekly. Actually no, I go down to a 4 hour, and it's very likely to retest the lows again. Actually, right around what is a 77 to 80 bucks or so. I mean, it's pretty much right around there. Anyways, so you're looking at a 2-day and a weekly. Okay, so let's go to a 2-day and let's see what we got right here. Yep. Okay, so we got extremes on volatility. We have multiple drives of bearish divergence. 1, 2, 3 coming off the macro right there. And weekly is probably more of the same. Although, yeah, weekly is a breakdown as well. I would be looking for this one to actually make a full-on leg down to 70 bucks before the next sort of generalized bounce, probably on the daily in this case. I imagine. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's essentially what I'd be looking for. I don't think that you're putting in a low just yet. Very likely tries one more move down somewhere around low $70, tries for a bounce there, and then I guess the hopium is that you spend some time accumulating for a while. But I would not be bullish on this thing for a long time, for what it's worth. Now, to be fair, down to $70 is still a higher low, but I expect that it will take some time, if that even is going to come to fruition to begin with. So fair enough. I mean, you still got your weekly uptrend, of course, but I expect that this thing's going to be taking some time. Probably plays alongside Bitcoin, but not one of the more strong ones throughout this dump. We actually did see several coins that were a little bit more on the stronger side. This one would not be among them, which is a surprise to me because this one was so strong early this year. Anyways, Rishab says, hello, boss. Hello, sir. It's just regular Krown today. No boss action. Rune daily and weekly macro predictions. There's no macro predictions. First off, there's no predictions in trading. There's only statistics and probabilities. So that's always going to be a terrible way to be coming at things, not to, rain on your parade or anything like that. But there's also no macro on an asset that's only been around for 2 years. When we're talking about macro, we really want to be looking at weekly and monthly, and we really want like 5 to 10 years of history. But I expect that what you're really asking is, what's the highest term time frame that I can look at right here, and what are we essentially looking at? And this is garbage right here, is what it is. Already almost closing on new lows, already, but it's not quite there just yet. I would get full on just nasty as fuck bearish on this thing below about 645. Until then, short term, I'm seeing no bottoming activity just yet. Very likely comes back down and fills the wick over the weekend, somewhere around $6.50. Probably tries for a bounce there, but I'm not in any way, shape, or form calling a reversal from there. This one's pretty fucking ugly, man. It's got the hero of death pattern right there as well. Haven't seen those since 2018 for what it's worth. And volatility also taken up on this, retest of your prior lows. That is not great. Anyways, monthly. Is there really a monthly on this thing? Yeah, it probably does try for some bounce off this region. I guess the hopium is that you're going to put in some sort of a low right around the the 21, which is about that $6.25 to $6.50 number. But that would also imply that you probably do test around there again. Just be looking for some nice wicks to the upside if that is going to hold to fruition. But for right now, it's all hopium, man. This thing is this thing is bearish on even the short term time frame as long as you're below $9. Nothing too impressive to be looking at right there. Mr. Dr. Roxo says, Cadena. Okay, just one, sir, man. We can only just do one at a time. And I feel like you know this, man. You've been here for a while. Again, we got a shit ton of people here today, man. And I don't want to be disrespectful to any one particular person. But it's the same chart on the 4 hour, man. It's just god awful. Just fucking god awful. So we called a top on this one, like way back on over here in November. And I have no reason to be looking at this as a low right here. This is very likely continuation as well. I'm looking at minimum for a move down to $8 and a bounce there. Probably in the next week or two. Look, long term, long term for an asset that only has about a year of history, it's good. I mean, it generally goes up, but I expect that you're going to be searching for your next higher lows, which probably do come at minimum at around $8. At maximum, assuming long-term bullishness, about 230 to 250 or so. So that is quite a range right there. I think you've seen your highs for a while, to be quite honest with you. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cadena. It's almost like Cardano too. That's how bad it is. Hey, Elsa, could I ask you for some water? I think I have a water bottle somewhere on the table over there, but I am massively in need right now. Crypto Chrissy, good morning to you, actually. Good day to you as well. Good day to you as well. I'd love to know your thoughts on FTM USD for the month of December. Again, I mean, like, it's hard to know like exactly what's going to happen during December, but I imagine it's going to mirror whatever Bitcoin does. As far as this chart goes, very similar to the last one. Went on a phenomenal run, obviously here. Great, great shit over the last couple years, it looks like, or yeah, about a couple years. Actually goes back to 2018. So yeah, pretty damn good for that. But is this one toppy as fuck right here and very likely to come down further? Yeah, $1, I do think. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Got my water now. Oh man, the yelling is going to continue. It's not fucking stopping yet. Ah, so good. Oh, so good. Finnish water, man. The best in the world. The best of the best in the world. Can't be beaten. All right, let's put that down right there. But yeah, as far as FTM goes, if you're looking for a bullish December, no, I don't think that's what you're looking at right here. There will be bounces along the way, obviously, but I expect that you do see back down somewhere around low $1 before it's all said and done. And even then, well, that's actually, I don't need to go further than that, actually, because I don't think that this thing would actually break below $1 in December, to be fair. And I'd be looking for, the bullish views that you want to be seeing your higher lows somewhere around about $1 to $1.25. But yeah, I do think that you will test back down around there, and short term, this one is just obviously bearish as long as you're below about 210 in this case, until it pops back above there, which I don't think is happening anytime soon before further continuation to the downside, but I can be wrong about that. I don't really see any reason to be looking at this thing as well bullish in that case. Kyle McDonald, welcome to the cave as well, sir. Thank you for that, man. Nice one. Extirpate is back on with Bow. Sir, you don't want me to do it again, man. You don't want this to come back to you. Yeah, exactly, man. Eggs fucking exactly. Chess Champion 94 says, hey, Krown, can you look at Luna short and long term? Yeah, this one would be a good one to be looking at because I think it did something relatively different than the rest of the market. So let's see how it held up thus far. And still better than most. Definitely better than most, but putting in, well, yeah, what would seem like a little bit of a short-term high for sure. I would be looking for short-term continuation down just below about $60 in this case, 59.5 to 59.90 or so. I'm gonna be looking for a bounce right around there. That'd be kind of my short-term look on that. But do not confuse bounce with the reversal. I'm very hesitant. It's going to be very difficult to be bullish on singular names when the general market is going sideways at best. As long as Bitcoin's below $52,000, I don't think it's going to be super wise to be like gung-ho bullish on anything that's not obviously bullish. See how the weekly closed on this thing? Weekly closed pretty well, actually. The weekly closed actually phenomenally well. So I do think corrective moves down to like the mid 50s would be okay. But I'm not super confident on the short-term time frames. I am actually quite confident on the weekly here. As long as this thing is above about $50 on a closing basis, I actually would still be long-term bullish. I mean, it is technically a breakout right here. You see volatility increasing as well, and it's one of the strong ones in this market here. So short-term, does it pull back a little bit more? I guess down to $55 is fine. Even $50 is fine, but really don't want to see it lose $50. Below $50, this thing very likely does join the rest of the market. Obviously, that'd even be taking out your Saturday wick low as well, which would not be fucking good. So this thing does kind of need to hang it up here today. Otherwise, probably looking at some sideways and down action, to be fair. 5-day also going to be closing today. And for what it's worth right now, it actually still is a decent setup. Just don't want to see below $50. Below $50 problems. Until then, good. Maybe I record a video on this one. Maybe not. Fuck it. I don't think I should. We'll save it for some fun videos today. Pump tomorrow, says Mike G. Yes, pump tomorrow. Oh, you're gonna get the best pump tomorrow, Mike G. You're gonna get pump Red Bills in your fucking Angus, sir. Get ready for Bear Divas to pump. God damn, I'm gonna have so much fun with this. I'm gonna have so much fucking fun with this. Oh my lord, I'm gonna have so much fun with this shit. Kyle McDonald said, you weren't here in 2018. Oh man, you weren't here in 2018. We love 2018. It was fun times, fun times. This channel was born in 2018. Kyle McDonald says, cheers from Atlantic, Canada. Hey, nice, man. Hey, man, all good. I appreciate that, brother. My man, very much appreciate that. Zill on the 4-hour and daily. Okay, Zill. Oh man, okay, Zilliqua. Definitely sounds like a Canadian cryptocurrency, and well, it's about as inspiring as your president. Sorry, don't mean to get political here. Not that I shouldn't even be talking about. I don't know that guy. I don't fucking know that guy. Terrible chart though, just terrible. Sorry. Any bounces up to 7.5 cents or 8 cents is just a corrective bounce before another try towards 5 cents. Pretty ugly here, but I wouldn't be calling like a full meltdown just yet. Full meltdowns are going to be had below about 5 cents on a weekly closure. I do look for this thing to correct heavily down to about 3 to 2.8, 2.9 cents, somewhere around there. Until then, probably more likely to play around here, trade a little bit sideways, probably try another move towards that, just under 8 cent region. And then, well, assuming no closures above within this next month. I mean, this is an M pattern right here, and M, you can remember this as M is for murder, as the great Jamie Dimon did once say. And there technically is a measure move on that thing, although I won't do it right now because I don't want to scare the ever-loving shit out of you. But short term, more or less going sideways right here. You're looking at a 4-hour and a daily. 4-hour is still just a redistributed pattern to the. I mean, still just continuation to the downside right here for what it's worth. You will be building up some sort of bullish divergences relatively soon, and you probably do get a pity bounce. But I expect that comes with one more test somewhere around your current lows, somewhere in like the 5 to low 6 cent region, something like that, man. Hopefully that was helpful and not too not too mean. Twan wallets are T1 wallet. Is it Twan wallet or T1 wallet? Good day to you as well, sir. Matic 4-hour and daily. Yeah, this would be one worth checking out for sure, as it was one of the few ones that has actually been, or at least last I looked, it was actually holding up okay. Yeah, it kind of looks a little more like Terra right now, actually. Not as inspiring right here, but still does hold it up better than most. And maybe record a video on this one. Should I? Should I not? Let's actually go a little bit deeper into it. Okay, yeah, here we go. We'll record a video on this one. I'm not afraid of this one. Here we have Polygon symbol MATIC versus the dollar, and I'd want to start off with the weekly right here. This one actually held it up relatively well compared to most of this market, and while I do think that it does play out maybe a bit more of a short-term pullback, anywhere down to about 170 to 170, or sorry, more like 175 is okay. I actually do look at this as still a continuation of uptrend, and we do have, or do we have, actually no, we do not have hidden bullish evidence on the weekly. That would be a good counterpoint to what I'm saying. But overall, you're a lot closer to that macro breakout that we spoke about last week than not. Unfortunately, though, do not have continuation conditions met on the weekly specifically just yet. Need to see a weekly closure still above about 2.25, which this one just missed. It will have a chance to do it on the 5-day today, I suspect, but it's short term. Is it likely to bounce, or is it likely to continue on with some downside? Short term, I do think that it is a little more likely to test some downside right here, probably back down around about 177 or so. I do not flip around to short term bullish on this one, especially as long as you're below about 215. 216. Got too many trend lines here relevant for different time frames, but it does look a little more likely to test around the weekend lows first. And then if you are bullish, you probably put in something resembling a higher low right here on the daily, which would be anywhere around about, low 170s to 175 or so. Now it should be known on the daily, this one is starting to look a little bit more like a daily reversal for what it's worth. We do have bearish evidence on this high versus this high. Now we have put the first easy target on that one. The next one would be about 174 to 175, but I would still hold off on getting bearish on this thing macro until we do just destroy the weekly, which would be below about 165 in this case. So a daily closure below there. Let me just double check. Daily closure below there probably does it for me. At least I would be looking for a move back down towards 145 to 150 base again. And well, I guess the hopium is that level does hold. It's probably gonna be easier to watch Bitcoin typically in these sort of market environments, just because whatever Bitcoin does, this thing will very likely do as well. But for what it's worth, I am looking for Bitcoin to trade a little bit sideways and down and try for a low a little bit lower than where it currently is before trying a decent bounce. But hey, if I'm wrong about that, you'll see Bitcoin back above 52 or so, and Matic would probably be one of the bigger beneficiaries of that. Until then, short term, looking for some downside, and I wouldn't be looking for this one, or at least I just wouldn't be bullish on this one For the short and medium term, looking for that continuation above about 2.25, as long as you're below about 217 in this case. Until then, still one of the better charts around cryptocurrency land, but short-term corrective still alongside the rest of the market. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Matic, sir. Nice one, man. Bamer says morning. Good morning to you as well. Luna on the daily and hourly. We got that one. So all good there, sir. All good there. Very similar chart actually to Luna, except Luna's technically at all-time highs. This one pretty much got around all-time highs, but very, very similar in the short term. And I expect that these two will trade with each other, and they're two worth watching as well, just because they're both, of the same sort of, of the same sort of strength, I guess, relatively speaking. And I imagine that their Bitcoin pairing is probably going quite well. Anyways, let's see. Okay, so we got that. We got that. Let's see. What else do we have over here? We got Gemini Athlete. He wants to look at Matic. We just looked at it. All good right there, sir. All good right there. And it's also been recorded as well. You want to look at a 2-day and a weekly. Yeah, the weekly we've kind of already looked at. The 2-day. 2-day will have bearish divergence if it confirms a local high right here, which would be had, with a closure below about 175, and that would probably be your next send move back down to about $150 lows, but a little bit further away. I think actually the lower term time frames are the one to be watching on this one right now. They're just a little more obvious, to be fair. Anyways, let's see. I got that one as well. Everyone wants to see Matic and Luna. Fair enough. Jack Jansen says MC versus Wrapped Ethereum. Okay, so this is Merit Circle. I remember we looked at this one like 2 to 3 weeks ago. Had a nice move, but is it surviving? Oh no, it's not surviving, man. Nothing's safe from bear Jesus today. Yeah, man, this thing probably going to try another bounce somewhere around the 0.012 region or so. This one has lost its long-term bullish structure as well, which is of particular interest, because before it did have this going on. Obviously it failed at the 0.025 level, which was the validation for continuation. So right now this one's corrective at best, and to be quite honest, this one actually, this is just pure distribution right there. So I would be looking for this one to try for some greater bounces somewhere around about 0.012 to 125 to maybe even like 0.013 region. By the way, we watched a terrible movie last night that I need to tell you about. It's called The Suicide Squad, and it's so fucking awful, man. Like the big villain was this starfish with an eye in the middle of its face. It's like so fucking dumb, and it like copied Aliens, like just right, exactly how it worked. Like what? Where are people finding? Doesn't anyone watch these goddamn movies before releasing them? Like who's sitting back there testing these movies and being like, yeah, people are gonna like this one? It's like you have very, 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 very low expectations, sir. Jesus Christ, man. Not to use the Lord's name in vain right there, but I do need to express my dismay with such powerfully disappointing cinemas, man. Anyways, El Rey Leon says, so I'm going to get rich with this shit or not? It depends. Can you trade or not? If you're looking for long-term investments, well, it might be worth waiting a little bit of time, man. Have no fear, Krown is here, man. I'll do my best. I'll do my best if things really do reverse. And but hey, man, I'm a human as well, man, and I can definitely make all sorts of major mistakes, of which you've seen me probably make some major mistakes if you've been here even for like the last 6 months or so. Anyways, I'm gonna take another sippy sip of this, and we'll get on to Mr. Albara. There he is from Kuwait. I remember this. Nikki Page laying it down. Please reach the pin message. It would help, just because it makes everything a little more efficient and makes our mods' lives a little bit easier. And we love our mods, of course, as well. All right, Mr. Albar says, greetings, Sir Krown, from the land of billionaires, my fucking man. I'm aware, though, you Kuwaitians people, is it Kuwaitis? Kuwaitis or Kuwaitians? Kuwaitis. The Kuwait people, the people of Kuwait. Yeah, very, very rich, man. That oil money, just crazy, crazy powerful. Could you please take a look at Hero on the daily, please? Sure, man. Hey, Kippis, you know some Finnish. Nice, man. That's my Finnish is very limited. Been living here for like 4 years and I don't know shit. Short term, looking for this one to come back down just below 18 cents and try for maybe another bounce there. But do not confuse bounce with a reversal. A very new chart, so kind of difficult to be looking at a daily for what it's worth. Maybe I go to a 12-hour here. Yeah, I would be looking for a bounce somewhere around 16.5 to 17 cents, just below 17 cents in this case. But I guess it wouldn't be wise to call a full-on reversal just yet, but forgive me if I'm not going to be like full-on bullish on something like this. There's just nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below about 23.5 cents. So short-term, looking for some downside continuation. The hoping is that you put in a higher low somewhere around your 16 to 16.5 cent region and then pop back above your 23.5 cent high. Until that happens, well, whatever Bitcoin does, this thing's going to very likely mirror that, and probably in a more, well, let's actually see. How much did it get hit on Saturday? 34.5%. Okay, so yeah, probably in a higher beta fashion if I had to guess. But for right now, yeah, just nothing really bullish about this thing as long as it's below about 23.5 or so. And short term looks like it does want to come back down and test some downside here. Jack Jansen says, looking for some guidance. Well, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and nor am I a guider. But let's see. I'm good at picking price action, but emotions can get in my way of pulling the trigger on trades. How to work on this? Oh, this would be a really good one to record. Man. All right. Let me just, well, I think I'm good right there. So let's just record. All right, here we have a really good question from Mr. Jack Jansen of our lovely community, and he's basically saying, I am good at picking price action. So I'm guessing like you feel like you can find the good setups, or you whatever trade idea that you are postulating before getting involved with the trade, you are pretty good with picking, it sounds like. But your emotions, you're saying, can get in the way of pulling the trigger on trades. So you're identifying what typically end up to be good trades, but you're not actually taking the trades because your emotions are getting in the way. If I understand your question properly, hopefully I'm rephrasing that properly there. How can I work on this? Okay, so the best way to work on this, and what this problem to begin with comes in about two ways typically. The first way is that you get scared because you don't trust your analysis because you might be new or something like that. That comes down to actually back testing whatever strategy that you are employing to find these good trade setups. So if you were to go and back test whatever sort of strategy that you're looking at right now, and let's say it had a 60% win rate, would you feel, and you back tested this 100, 200, 300 times, whatever, would you feel that same way with entering that trade with a little bit of money? Maybe not, maybe not. So it sounds like you probably haven't done the homework with it. If you have, I apologize. I'm just, assuming here because I don't really have much to be going off of, but that would definitely assuage those fears. The best way to get over your fears with, especially with trading, is through something called progressive desensitization. It's also great for, masturbation as well, and other things that, you just want to get over. So with that in mind, when you're talking about progressive desensitization within the context of trading, what we're talking about here is we're talking about first doing the back testing, which is no finances involved. You're just going through historical examples of whatever setup that you're looking for, and you're measuring out, okay, if I took this trade here based off of this signal that is tangible, that you can identify very easily, then what was my average result over a long period of time, both with my profit and loss, and also with the percentage of trades that actually worked out in that fashion. Okay, so once you have that, then you can go and trade it on a testnet account with no finances involved, but real time. It'll be slower, obviously, because you need to wait for price action to give you the signals. So that's just going to be a bit of a painful experience. But the problem is pretty much no one does this because, well, we want riches now, baby. We want fucking riches now, and that's just being a human, right? That's just being a human. So you have to be able to fight that, and then once you start to get an acceptable amount of iterations where you are seeing your strategy work in the way that you are comfortable with, then start putting in smaller and smaller amounts towards it. And that is how you can progressively desensitize yourself towards being comfortable with actually taking those trades and also, sizing up in the proper way. Now, the second way that this issue comes up, and I don't know if this is relevant to you or not, but a lot of the time, if you are getting emotional about your trades, and you already have what you just spoke about in place, then it's likely coming from, at least in my experience, it's likely coming from your position size, and it's too high. If you're getting emotional about your trades, it's a good internal sort of compass thing to kind of understand about yourself that, hey, I'm probably over leveraged or oversized here, and I need to size down, and that's completely fine. And honestly, we're typically speaking, and I include myself in this equation as well, we're way too quick to oversize ourselves, and it's very difficult to go down in size once you've kind of traded with a higher size. But hey, you need to be able to be strong mentally speaking and logical, and think to yourself, hey, if I really want to do this as a living, and I'm thinking about building up this skill for life, which it can be if you actually put in the work, which relative to the length of your life, it's probably going to be a relatively short amount of time. I mean, probably not more than a year to a year and a half on average is what we typically see for people. Can I go through this process right here, understanding that it's going to take some time, there's going to be some pain involved in it as well, but the long term, the long road, this, could very well be worth it, or at least I would think so. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for that. And let me know if that was kind of alongside what you were thinking, or if maybe it was just completely off balance right there. Anyways, let's see. Ago's music, welcome to the cave as well, man. Yeah, man, this is great. This is excellent. Jack Assman, there he is. Matic versus Ethereum. Yes, this would be very interesting to be seen today. A lot of these Ethereum and Bitcoin pairings, actually, just because which one's the strong ones? And Matic versus Ethereum dumping off harder than Ethereum. So it does look like Matic will take a backseat to Ethereum in this case. And here the market comes down again. And this one very likely does test somewhere around about 42.20-ish region before trying for a bit of a bouncy bounce. It's very, very close right there. But again, do not confuse bounce with reversal in this case. This thing is not looking for a reversal anytime soon. I'd probably be looking again somewhere around about 42.20 or so. Try for a bounce there and then come back to it after that. There's not really a long-term chart on this one, unfortunately. Maybe we can go to here. Okay, this is actually quite better. Oh, this is actually much better. In fact, this is actually much better long-term as well. I'm very glad that I looked at this, man. Otherwise, well, this is more of a full picture. While I do think that this thing comes down somewhere around about 42,500 to 41,200 or so, I would be looking for higher lows around that region, because you do have an accumulation base over the past 6 months or so, going back to July, maybe less than 6 months, but you get my point. Going back on over here, this is actually good, and you do have a reversal on your trend over here with higher highs and higher lows. So I respect that, but I'm looking for higher lows somewhere right around here. Below there, obviously very, very bad, but for right now, that'd be short-term bearish still. Mylene Gomes, what's up, man? Nice avatar right there. Is that a punk? You punk? You crypto punk? Square, okay, yeah, some real stocks. Yeah, let's definitely look at some real stocks over here. I imagine Square is probably doing absolutely terrible, and it is doing absolutely terrible. Oh my. Fuck, this is gonna get so much worse. Oh my god, this is gonna get so much worse. Man, I'm gonna wear my Bear Jesus hoodie so proudly. Oh my god, I'm gonna wear my Bear Jesus hoodie so fucking proudly. Bearish divergence on the monthly. Volatility turning up on the monthly. This thing's very likely coming down over time towards 130 to 135 or so over the next few months here. Now you're saying short term. Have to decide whether to hold or sell and take the losses when market opens. Okay, so I really want to get away from like doing the spoon feeding and stuff like that. And I understand, like, look, you're more than free to ask whatever you want, obviously. But at the same time, I don't know what your extra strategies are, and I don't really know what a low-term time frame is for you. If you're looking at an hourly right here, does it try to open up on a bounce, maybe somewhere around about $1.88, $1.90 or so? Perhaps yes, but this thing is macro bearish. This is a distributive top right here, so it's going to be trending to the downside for a while. There's obviously going to be bounces along the way. Next major bouncer in a weekly I'd be looking at is like 156 to 160 region. Till then, man, like this is pretty ugly here. Pretty fucking ugly. So I don't know what low term time frame is for you. Daily just looks like continuation to me overall. Probably getting ready for, yeah, probably does open up on a bit of a bounce today, but I don't feel too confident on that. What I feel confident on is the long term. But again, when it comes down to it, and I think the more valuable thing that I could potentially say here is whenever you get into a trade like this, or any trade for that matter, you need to, before entering the trade, know exactly where, first off, you're entering, where's your desired exit, your profit taking, or how you're going to manage that, and then also your risk management. These things need to be decided beforehand, and a question like this kind of implies that you did not do that. So again, I'm not trying to speak down towards you, but understand that you need to have these things in place first before going in. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in these situations continuously, and it doesn't matter how profitable you are long term. It's just a matter of time before those statistics catch up with you. And not having a plan for risk management is just not a plan. Yeah, I do think that this one does come lower over time. Does it open up on a bounce today? Maybe. I mean, we can go check out NASDAQ right here. As it is it's a financial stock and pretty ugly, man. Can this thing bounce back up towards 15.9? Maybe yes, but overall ugly, man, and overall bearish as long as you're especially below 16,000 on an hourly closure. Above there, yeah, look for a little bit of a bear trap reversal. So if I am going to talk about bear traps, I'd look for NASDAQ back above about 16,000 and some odd change on an hourly closure. That would look like a bear trap. I don't think it's what's happening right here, but that would be my condition for that. Until then, I think a little more likely over the next month or so here to work its way down to 15.3 or so. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, not great right there. Bearish divergence on the weekly closure. Volatility ticking up. yeah, no even hidden bullish evidence possible just yet as well. So very unlikely to be put in a low right here. So hopefully that's helpful. And I think someone else pointed this out. Yeah, someone pointed this out last week. The weekly jewel, not looking too hot right there. It has not gotten a full-on downside signal just yet, but if we do get a full-on downside signal off that, I will extend my downside target significantly. So I'll just leave that right there. It's obviously not there just yet, but it's getting pretty fucking close, man. Dan Daya, good morning to you as well, man. Ethereum Bitcoin, yeah. Well, do you want to do Ethereum Bitcoin or Ethereum USD? Well, I think it would be, we can actually combine them because it is kind of the same thing, and I can do it very, very quickly because I already got them both charted out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one up first versus the dollar, and I will actually want to record this one as well. Okay, wow. Jesus, man. Brutal, just fucking brutal. Okay. All right, let's see, and how my chart's doing right here. All right, we're gonna redo this chart for right now. All right, here we have Ethereum versus the dollar, and a couple things stand out about this chart first and foremost. First off, it salvaged itself a lot better than the majority of this market on Saturday's dump bull. Now, it did have a massive dump all the way from about 4,200 all the way down to 3,500 low, or even a little bit lower than that on this exchange, it looks like, but it closed the day back about 41, it looks like. So rather impressive result right there. And I would go as far as saying that, hey, you know, if I'm going to be providing a little bit of hopium, I suppose that there is good reason to be doing so. But short term, does it come back down and test around, you know, $3,950 to $4,000? Perhaps yes. I do think that that's rather likely. But I do look at this as still a base in a trading range as long as you're above that region. It's actually very similar to before. Now, instead of using the 45-20 region as a continuation point, actually, I do think that we could still use it as a continuation point. So, you know what, I'm going to keep it there again. But overall, I mean, I haven't really done all that much, to be fair. Let's see. Do we see anything particular interest here on momentum oscillators? Are we going to have hidden bullish divergence if it puts in a local low here? Yep, it actually would, but that's not happening anytime soon. And in order for that to occur, you need to close back above about 4,300 or so. So again, I do think that this one will test to the downside short term. Yeah, 4 hour is looking lower. We do have hidden bearish divergence on the 4 hour time frame as well. And I imagine if we go over here, it's probably not going to be all that hot. And then, but what I really want to be doing is I want to be looking at the Bitcoin pairing. Anyways, as far as the dollar pairing goes, you know, you do see the bottom of the Troll band coming in right around that 39.50 level as well. So if I'm looking for a move back down around there alongside a Bitcoin short-term breakdown, which I think, you know, we're kind of seeing right now, you probably see something resembling a wick over here. And then if it is going to be good, you want to see pretty much, I wouldn't say an immediate bounce, but a very quick bounce intraday before end of day back above, especially 4,000, and that would look okay. Until then, short term, you know, sideways and down at best. Just don't want to see it really close below about 39.50. Otherwise, I will turn on to, well, big time bearish on it. Anyways, let's go over and check out the Bitcoin pairing. I think that this deserves some. Well, I think it just deserves some interest here because we've seen the continuation, obviously. And we do still have our measure move, which is in target right here, all the way up to about 9.5 million Satoshis. And I do think that things continue on from there long term after a bit of a short term pullback. But here's the thing. Here's what I was not expecting. I was expecting this to come alongside of US dollar price action increasing. Instead, we're seeing US dollar price action essentially going down in the general market. And Ethereum USD is mostly holding sideways within the range. And then the Bitcoin parent is going to the moon, which is great. Now, the weekly did confirm above the topside resistance of this. So to update this, alongside our 5-day look that we put out, I think about 3 to 4 days ago, we do see continuation. So it was a bit of a formality, but overall good. And we do see that this is also going to be coming on increasing volatility coming off of that breakout. So this is really, really good. And these sort of low volatility reads on the weekly specifically have been what met with some pretty impressive price action. The last time we saw this low was November, December of 2020. That was before this move over here on this higher low, before basically, you know, kind of where it's at right now. Hitting about 160 to 200% highs right there. Weekly RSI back in the bullish control zone as well. So I'm very, very bullish on this one. On this pairing, not necessarily the US dollar valuation just yet, as long as you're above about 7.75 million Satoshis long term. So this is really, really good. And I would continue to be bullish on this one. And I still do think that this one does reach the 9.5 million Satoshi region, very likely pulls back. And then upon validation, critical point there, upon validation above 9.5 million Satoshis, I do look for this one to work its way up all the way towards, you know, the 1.272 at minimum, which is 11,500,000 Satoshis. So quite significant right there. Of course, it's going to take some time, but here's the thing. And here's where I'm kind of thrown for a loop. We have historically seen ever since 2015, the inception of Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, that anytime that this is macro bullish, so is Bitcoin. And we actually, well, Bitcoin is still macro bullish actually, but it's not short-term bullish, to be fair. So fair enough right there. Anyways, what else do you want to say about this? I think that kind of does it for this one. But overall, I do look for continuation here. Again, be aware of where the invalidation is. If you're on a daily, that's about 7.85 million satoshis till that level's hit. You know, I'm looking up and to the right, and a very, very good chart, but not necessarily implicative that the US dollar valuation will go up alongside of it. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Ethereum, sir. MDIS says XED 4 hour and 12 hour. Okay. XED. I think we looked at this one last week and it was interesting. What?
It's 9. Do you want to close them 9:30?
We can close maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. We can close them. It doesn't look like it's that bad just yet. Okay, cool. So we got XED over here, and this is actually a very interesting one. Okay, I'm gonna write this one down. This one has not really broken down with the rest of the market. I mean, it did see a downside move on December 4th. That was the Saturday dump, I believe. But you can see that it's actually still holding its higher lows, and this one is going to be pretty damn bullish with any sort of a daily closure above about 68 cents. This is actually, dare I say, good compared to most of the things in this market right now. Something like this is what you're looking at, and above about 68 cents as that validation on a daily closure. I would be looking for another run up somewhere around 76 to 80 cents or so over time. That would look quite good. Short-term bullishness will be subsided below about 59 cents on a daily closure, and probably retest around your prior wick lows at 53 to 54 cents. Until then, though, one of the more interesting charts today, and something that was not expected, but very, very interesting to see. And thank you for bringing that up, man. It's actually rather helpful just for me to see other different things. Hey, what's up, J3F? I see you over there, man. Solana? Yeah, we could do Solana. Let's see. I think this one also had a decent response from Saturday. Let's double check over here. Some good water. Really good water. Jesus Christ, man. 2,400 people are in here right now. We got 1,400 likes. Insane. Fucking insane. Again, major appreciation for that. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Anyways, Solana. This one's worth recording, actually. Okay. Here we have Solana, symbol SOL versus the dollar, and another one that is somewhat similar to Ethereum in terms of relative strength. However, when I go to the weekly, maybe I do take that back a bit. But basically, do I think that we can see another move down to about $1.60? Yeah, I do think so, especially if Bitcoin trades down here as well. But overall, as long as this thing is closing above, and let's just redo this one in a similar way to Ethereum for the most important part, would be this little range right here between about $1.76 and 180. As long as you're closing above there, this actually is shaping up to be a little bit something resembling another accumulation zone. Very, very similar to Ethereum, but this one not as obvious as Ethereum, nor is it as long-term implicative bullish here. So similar to Ethereum as well. I wouldn't call this resolved in a bullish fashion. Obviously, as long as you're below 230, above 230, this thing very likely retests per all-time highs at 260 or 270 and continues on to 300 long-term. But until then, similar to Ethereum, I do think that you get a few more tests into the bottom side of this blue box territory, kind of getting that right now actually. But assuming that there's no closures below, well, I do look for this one to kind of do something similar in the sense that you probably look at, some sideways action. Whoops, let me get my little LARP lines out right here. Sideways action for a little bit of time, and then tries another move to the upside. Confirmation and validation of a major upside move would be above about 230, and that look really, really good. Now, I do want to represent the bearish side accurately here, and the bearish side is this. The bearish side is on the weekly. You got a major top, you hit extremes on volatility, and you got bearish divergence of 1, 2, 3 drives already in there. Now you did hit the first easy target on this one, which is down to about $1.60. The next target, if you do break that low side structure below about $1.55 to $1.60 or so, on that last wick low, would be back down to about 135 or so. 135 base is what I'd be looking towards. And that'd probably take a long time, obviously. And it's, again, I'd imagine that Bitcoin would be breaking down massively as well if that were to happen. But that's kind of what I'd be preparing for in this case. I'm just curious to see what we have over here from momentum also to perspective, just to see if there's anything of particular interest. Maybe we're missing some. Maybe some can help out with biases. Yeah, daily Stokes turning down as long as we close today below about 222.5. Not great. Weekly. Face down as long as you're below about 255. So this one is going to be corrective at best for a while. The hopium here, and again, I do think that the hopium is okay in this case, is that you hold above about $1.75 on a daily closure. Below there, not only very likely retest your $160 wick low, but very likely to trade much further south than that, somewhere around about $1.35 to $1.40 base, and maybe try for like a macro low somewhere right around there if it is going to be still long-term bullish. Until then, corrective at best. And this is the hopium right here. Understand that this is hopium right here. It's really not until you get back above about 230 that this thing actually confirms and validates that it is once again macro trending bullish. And in this case, targets up to 300 plus are going to be relevant. I mean, we can just briefly look at this. If it were to put in a base here, what's going to be the relevant targets? 270 would be the first one above 230. And then, 300 to 330 actually long term would look quite good. So just be aware of that. Hopefully that's helpful for Solana. One of the ones that's held up a little bit relatively better than many other things, to be fair. So very, very interesting. Anyways, you also have about a 4 hour, not really seeing any signs of like major bottoms here just yet. So very likely testing this region a few more times, I suspect. Cool. Robert Como says, in times like this, the market needs to hear from Nicholas Martins. Don't deprive this. Oh, you don't, man. The channel's too big for me to do anything like that. And honestly, like he's probably a fine guy. Like there's a lot easier people to pick on than him. And to be fair, like at least he doesn't do the clickbait shit that even I've been doing recently too. So, well, I don't really do like clickbait titles or like clickbait thumbnails, but they are definitely getting a little bit more flamboyant, I would say. But yeah, man, no, we should probably leave him alone, man. He's paid his dues for 2018. He's paid his dues for 2018. There's much worse out there at this point. Maybe that's what the true washout needs to be, is all these crypto YouTubers, maybe even myself too. Get rid of me, baby. I'm going back to my own fucking cave. Anyways, Captain Caveman, nice name, man. Sweet name. Can you please look at XRP USD on the 4 hour and daily? Yes. Okay, we got XRP. Whoops. XRP USD right here. And I guess we go to Binance, and this one got absolutely fucking shellacked. And oh my god, man, yeah, this one got just absolutely fucking wrecked. Oh wow, and this one's actually losing its macro structure here too, assuming that this thing does trade lower. Anyways, you are looking at a 4 hour and daily. 4 hour, very likely to come back down in that minimum test around 73 to 74 cents. If Bitcoin breaks down, let's call it like 42 to 43,000 bucks, I'd be looking for this one to fill back down its prior wick lows, which is 60 cents actually. Now, to be fair, you still got higher lows on a weekly as long as you're above about 60 cents. But man, that is, I mean, this chart's had so many chances. This chart had so many fucking chances back in September, October. Didn't take them. Not really a great sign right here. So I don't really think that I don't really have too much hopium on something like this. The hopium, and this is really far away and not even useful, man. Not even useful, to be quite honest with you. But the hopium would be that you V-bottom out of here. You trade back above about 113.5. At that point, I guess I'd be bullish again, but it just hasn't been a really wise proposition to be bullish on XRP long term. Just with all these failures, man. I mean, it still does hold the higher lows, so got to be respectful of that. But I expect that you, at minimum, retest back down somewhere around 70 to just maybe below 70 cents. And the hopium is that you put in a low right here, and then you pop back above that 113.5 cent region. Then I guess I'd be bullish, but I have zero interest in trading this thing for reasons that you can probably guess. But yeah, 4 hour looks like it wants to keel back on over and test some lows again. Hey, Mr. D, good morning to you, man. Got my ass in LRC at 280, looking for an exit and take my losses. Okay, you bought the knife. So what do we look at right here? You bought at 280. You're trading just below $2 right now. Yeah, this does not look good, man. This is not fucking good. Heavily bearish as long as you're below even like 240 to 250. Look, I can't do your trades for you, obviously, but what I can say is that bounces can come quite easily up to like 220. But again, this is more hopium than not. I'm not bullish on this chart. Just not fucking bullish on this chart, man. I do think inevitably you will come down somewhere around about $1.25 at minimum in like the next month and a half. Long term, if things get really crazy, probably somewhere down around about 95 to a dollar. Yeah, not great right there. Not great right there. But I guess the hopium here, maybe you're creating some sort of bullish. I guess you will have bullish evidence if you do just. I feel like I'm feeding you too much hopium, man. Look, here's the thing: when you're in a bad position by your own, speech, which is kind of what you're saying right there, by your own, measurement. The best thing to do, assuming that you didn't already have a plan, which sounds like you did not have a plan because you're looking for an exit now. That's not really a plan. the best thing to do after that is to, well, in my experience, just get the fuck out. Now, you're probably going to be really, really mad with me if this thing comes back down around here and then puts in a nice bounce up to like 2.25, maybe even 230. Definitely possible, I guess, but this is not strong price action right here, man. Not strong price action. I think at best this thing to the upside would do like 250, but even then, man, that's not really going to be bullish. So I am traditionally supposed to be looking for bounces off the 55 in these cases. Forgive me for not thinking that that's the most likely thing to be happening right here. I do think that this thing's likely to test below where it is right. To put it bluntly, this thing is very likely to test below where it is currently right now, somewhere down around about $1.75 to $1.80 or so before trying any sort of major bounce. Take that as you will. And hopefully that was in some way helpful, man. Human V1 says cake longer time frames, please. Okay, don't know what that means to you, but I'm gonna go with a daily and a weekly in this case. Yeah, we got 63. Let's give it 5 minutes and then close them. Yeah. So we're gonna close the super chats in about 5 minutes. Anyways, cake USD, you're looking at long term, I'm guessing. So weekly, this one barely got a weekly, but here's a chart that is actually much worse than many other things. The reason why I say that is because this thing is already retesting its lows from the summer. Most charts have not done that just yet, so this one is relatively weak. It is a very, relatively speaking, very, very bad chart. Something like this. Now, would I be calling a breakdown from this exact level right here? Probably not. It's more likely to spend some time, doing like this, get my old LARP lines out, maybe try one more bounce, and then assuming that the bounce just fails to get back above, anywhere $22, then this is a distributed phase, and you're looking at something like this long term. You'd be looking at something like this, right? So that'd be the bearish view. I do think that you're probably going to bounce up this level first before, long-term breakdown. But hey, I thought the same thing about Bitcoin last week at $54,000 or 53,500, whatever it was, and we didn't get that. Now, to be fair, we also didn't get the validation of the conditions for that move, but I just want to be very open and honest that, hey man, I'm not going to be able to call these things perfectly. Long term though, definitely a weak chart, definitely a laggard, which is not a good sign, and it's relatively weak, as we did say. So you're going to see your bounces, but this thing is pretty ugly, pretty fucking ugly. And I do think that you will test somewhere around like 9.25 to 9.5. Again, especially before this thing is all said and done. I don't think that you're going to V bottom out of here. Back up and heavily bearish long term as long as you're below, or at least I'm biased towards downside as long as you're below about $21.5 to $22 or so. Let's see. Magic Turtle says, is the macro top in for okay, you're on Australian exchanges, NVX. Okay, Novonix. Is the macro high end for this one? Technically, I shouldn't say that just yet. It should bounce right here, but man, that's fucking ugly. Weekly says fuck your bounce and down to 675 first. And if you are talking about the macro, then the weekly is probably more appropriate for this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this one probably has hit a macro high. Again, weekly hit 1, 2, 3 drives of extremes on volatility. We have multiple drives of bearish divergence. You're gonna see your bounces along the way. But if you're specifically asked about the macro, I do think that this thing does come down much further. Long term, probably coming back down to $5 or so. Nimbo says Bao got hacked, 150 million lost. Well, the chart definitely shows it, man. The chart definitely shows it. 120 million stolen. That is not coming back. Jesus Christ, man. I salute everyone who's hurt by that, man. I do feel your pain, but man, oh man, cryptocurrency. It's like you're on the bleeding edge of tech, and you got cut. You got cut, basically. I'll go back on over here. Sorry to hear that, man. Neva, welcome to the cave as well, sir. Or ma'am, I don't know. Michael O'Connor says Polkadot Weekly. Okay, here we go. We got a name and we got a time frame as well. This is really good. It's really good. Well, hourly looks like shit. Weekly, probably more likely to bounce here than not after maybe retesting around your 24.25 lows or so. You did print a higher high over here, so can't really hate that. I guess you're looking for your higher lows, but where are they likely to come in around? I guess let's see what the fibs say here, because I don't think moving averages are going to get this one right. I mean, it is saying to be looking for a bounce kind of where you're at right now, at around the mid 20s, let's call it, with one more swipe of the lows. It looks like on the short-term time frames, which I don't think that you're concerned with. If not, then I'm looking down to about $20 or so, and that would still be actually a higher low. Below there, things are too wrecked to care. See what a daily looks like. Daily looks like it very much wants to retest around your current lows at about 24 to 24 and a half or so, anywhere around there. And then I'd be looking for something, you know, like a quick spike in there, and then close it back above basically 26 and a half to 27 bucks. If you start to see stuff like that, maybe this thing is trying to put in a low right here, but it's not going to happen overnight, and it's unlikely to happen this week as well. So again, easier to watch Bitcoin. If and when Bitcoin does break down, I'm looking for this thing back down to its lows of Saturday, tries for a bounce there, and then this thing actually would have hidden bullish evidence if it can put in a local low, but still has a lot of work to do. I don't think it's going to be doing anything super insane as of this moment. Monthly, yeah, you know, at best trading sideways for a while. Not much to go off of right there, but it ain't great. And bi-weekly, you know, to the upside, I think you're range bound below about 33 bucks or so. So going to take a long time at best, in my opinion. Simply Gains wants to look at, yep. I did get Nimbo super chat, actually. I just read it earlier.
No, is it that? Can you please check SIP on ASX?
Sir, that's like one of the newer ones. All right, fine. Ship. You want to look at Ship? No, I just read his the one that you. Oh my, God damn it, Nimbo! You fuck. Oh my fucking lord, man. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say about this, man. My throat already hurts. So. No. Okay, well, I'm not reading the last one right now. Jesus Christ. All right, I'll just read it for a second, for the love of fucking God. Sir, can you check? Zip. Z1P. Okay, Z1P. God damn, that is like impossible to read right there. Jono says he should sold the top right now. He is worried that he is selling the bottom. Rent's not due, but he is worried his Angus could be bleeding for a long while. Daily weekly ticker is Z1P. God, okay, Z1P. Well, all the shitcoins are mine. Z1P to the ground. Yeah, fucking terrible, man. You already know what I'm about to say about this, man. It says he should sold the top. He's now worried that he is selling the bottom. This is not the bottom on this thing, man. This thing very likely comes lower at 370 to 380 before putting in something resembling potentially a weekly bottom. But even then, I mean, it's a variation of the last chart that we saw. Extremes on BBWP on the weekly, and bearish evidence on weekly RSI. It just broke your last range lows. I don't think it's stopping here, man. I think that this one's continuation, sir. Oh, yep. Let's close these super chats. All right, so we are going to. Hey, thanks for that, Nikki Page. Sweet. Beating Elsa to the punch right there. Yeah, we're going to close all the super chats after this moment. So if you already sent a super chat before this moment, I will read it. But if it was after this moment, then I will not, because I don't think we're going to have time for that. Simpy Gains wants to look at Solana BTC. I mean, how are we doing today? Is it a lot or a little? Okay, it is a lot. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so probably wise to shut it off now then. Solana BTC, another chart that, you know, actually is acting well, specifically the Bitcoin parent. It's holding up better than Bitcoin, but what is this? It's an accumulation at the highs. And I have to be bullish on this thing, especially for trending action, as long as we're above 36,000 Satoshis. So you're looking at a daily, weekly, that would be the weekly, daily. You know, short term, can you come back down to 35, 8 to 35 or 36,000 Satoshis? Yeah, no problem. And that'd still be an uptrend, still be pretty damn good. But if you're specifically looking at the weekly, I do like this one, and I'm going to be bullish on it, especially as long as it's above 35,200. Below there, I do look for corrections down to about 29,000, just above there, and that'd actually still be another weekly higher low, to be fair. But for right now, this one's in a good posturing to actually trend and break out. And you know, can't really say that about many charts today, but basically looking at something like this, right? Basically looking at something like this, where you got your highs right there, you got your rising bottom, something like this. So again, I would allow space for this one to come back down. But overall, you know, if you're just looking at the Satoshi pairing, you know, we would have an implied target based off that, and that's going to be up to the 65,000 Satoshi region. I imagine we're also going to see something interesting from this perspective as well. And yeah, it would be right around the 1.618. So I do like that right there. I'd want to see, you know, actual confirmation of breakout, which would be above about 43,500 or so. All right, cool. Let's see. Crypto Ricardo says, good day, kind sir. LRC Daily Weekly. Ketos, hey, Ole Huvar, sir. I think that's how you say it. At least, I think we already looked at this one. Let me just jog my memory really quickly here. Probably just get into the one a little bit later. Yeah, we already looked at this one breakdown, man. So I'm looking for this one to retest around its current lows, and then probably does try for a bounce, but Again, do not confuse bounce with a reversal. I do think that this one will eventually come back down to about $1.50 to $1.60 before trying for like a major low in this case. Let's see. Sashin says Mantra DAO, OM, USD, hourly and daily. Okay. What is this? OM. Okay. OM. Mantra DAO. Sounds spiritual. Terrible fucking chart though, man. You're going to need to be spiritual to hold on to this thing. Oh my God. It's even worse on KuCoin. Maybe Poloniex has something better to be looking at. It does have more history here, but the more history that we have is even worse. This is even worse. It's even worse, man. I'd probably be looking for bounces around 16.25 cents, but again, do not confuse bounce with a reversal. This thing's heavily fucking bearish, man, as long as you're below 22 to 23 cents, and I am looking lower over time. I do think that this one will come down to like 13 cents in the next couple months, in the next like month to month and a half here. You just put in a weekly lower high. This one's been downtrending for a while. Slew of lower highs long term. If you're on an hourly, I mean, there's not really much to be going off right here. It doesn't really trade all that much, but it ain't good. It ain't fucking good. So, you know, you're going to see your bounce along the way, obviously. Maybe Binance looks a little better. Now, hourly's continuation right here is what it is. So yeah, I'm probably looking for a bounce relatively soon, but again, do not confuse bounce with reversal. This thing has some long-term down action, it looks like. And I mean, the hopium is that you pop back above about 22.5 cents. Until then, pretty fucking ugly. Moon case is Matic 4 hour. Yep, we got that one. So good there. Alec Mountain says, can you do CRO? We have not done that one actually. So CRO USD. Okay, let's see. KuCoin. All right. Wow. Oh my fucking God. Okay, so we did call a top on this one a while back on over here, and I was actually looking at as good as long as it played within the 65 cent to 80 cent region. That did not happen for very long. That did not happen for very long. And an invalidation of short-term okayness below 65 cents was obviously not had. Did close at what, 60, just below 64 cents. So actually not bad right there. I couldn't have told you that this move was going to happen right after that. No, I would only be bearish after that. I do think that this one will eventually come back down and test somewhere around 50 cents, maybe just below 50 cents or so. And that's where I might be looking for a bigger base. But, you know, is this a major high long term? Again, we hit extremes here on BBWP on the daily. What about the weekly? Weekly actually hit it as well. Does not have bearish evidence on a weekly, to be fair. So, you know, long term, I'd give it a chance. But yeah, I do think that it does come down at least one more time, somewhere around 50 cents. Tries for a low there, maybe within this next week. And then the hopium, I guess, is that it pops back into your 64, 65 cent region. And well, that would actually look pretty damn good. I think that's a little bit of hopium right there. But at least short term, looking for a continuation of the downside. Again, there's going to be bounces along the ways, but as long as you're right in the lower highs, I have no reason to be bullish, and your lower highs on the short-term timeframes come in below 60 cents in this case. So above 60 cents, yeah, things change on the short-term timeframes, but again, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I do think that this one does come down from there. It's not great. Alexander Mark says, hey man, can you please look at Telcoin? Sure. Okay, symbol TEL. I remember this one was looking pretty terrible last we looked at it. Let's see if it's still looking terrible, and it's still looking pretty terrible. Still pretty bad. Oh, no. We have distribution here over a long period of time. And the weekly is about to break down. Holy shit. Oh no. Oh no. No. I didn't even trade this thing, but man, I feel bad. Probably looking for this one to come back down to 0.9 of a cent or so and try for maybe a bounce there. But again, do not confuse bounce with reversal. While I would be looking for a bounce there, forgive me for saying this, but this does not look good. Does look like a major high right there. Daily, wrecked. Daily very likely coming back down. Yeah, around 9.1 to 9.2. Tries for a bounce there. Heavily bearish long term as long as you're below 2.25. Heavily bearish. Heavily bearish below there. This is just continuation, man. Volatility turning up right now on an actual breakdown. It's a great setup, but not for upside. And Bitcoin's coming down right now too, so that's not going to help it out, of course, as well. Hey, Mr. Ken. Unfortunately, man, we have. Can you check out PooCoin charts? Hopefully, that's just a. Hopefully, that's just a joke, man. But yeah, we. In case if anyone's not familiar or aware, we'd have shut off their super chats. So it might be a fuck. God damn it! I got trolled again. All right, let's see. Kurvan says, "Can you look at Sea War?" I've been. Hey, sweet man, awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. That's super cool. Sea War. So Cryo War. I think we've looked at this one before. Yeah, not much history here, so I guess we'll just try our best with this. But 2 and 4 hours shouldn't be too bad. So it looks like you've learned quite a fair bit then, because you didn't ask for a fucking daily on a chart that's been around for like 2 weeks. That shows a lot, actually. That shows a lot. Short term down, man. This is your next lower high right here. You even got a bit of a head and shoulders on the short term time frames. Not that I'm a humongous fan of that. Volatility turning up right here too, above 50 percentile, tells me that we're still in continuation of the trend, and current trend is to the downside. So looking somewhere around about 235 to 240, and probably tries for a bounce around there. Full hour, same thing, still trending here. Very, very bearish as long as you're below about 328. Oh, Nimbo. Nimbo's just a fucking savage, man. Nimbo's a fucking savage. By the way, shout out to Miss Allie, man. Sending my well wishes to her, sir. Jarek Petros, definitely Polish. Definitely Polish. It's probably Jarek Petrowski. DeFi chain on the 4 and daily. Okay. I think we've seen this name before. Okay, whoops. Maybe I could spell it properly. That would be helpful as well. This perhaps DeFi USD. That's the closest I can get. Or maybe I'll try DeFi chain. Okay. There we go. Symbol DFI. Yeah, symbols are going to be a lot easier for me to follow, especially if it's something that I don't recognize. But well, there's just a 4 hour. But you want to look at a 4 hour. All right, it's wrecked. Probably coming back. Probably looking for a bounce at around 410 or so. Daily is actually not bad. Actually, this is very interesting right here. Very, very interesting on the daily. So while I would be looking for maybe another move to the downside on the 4 hour, this is actually not super bad. And you do have your higher lows, especially as long as you're above about 330 to 340. Now, look, that's a fair bit away from where we're at right now. So not great, but short term, yeah, downside angled. We got bearish divergence right here. We got extremes on 4 hour BBWP, corrective at best short term, probably down to about $4. I'm looking for a bounce there. I don't know if I'd call a reversal there, but long term, this thing is actually certainly not as bad as many other things that we've seen today. Let's see, no, we do not have a chart here, but that's okay. This thing could come all the way down, yeah, to like 350, and I'd still look at it as just another higher low. And your macro breakout almost happened this week. It would be had with a daily closure above about 560 in this case. That would look really, really good for a long-term upside. Now, I think that you're going to spend some time consolidating after hitting your prior all-time high, which is very, very normal stuff. So this is not a bad thing. It is expected to pull back from a test like that, but I think that you consolidate and set another higher low somewhere around here first, and then give it another try, and that would actually be pretty damn good. So this would be one worth watching, actually. Thank you for bringing that one up, man. Let's see. Simply Gains says the worst thing is seeing your bags do a slow bleed. Oh man, Simply Gains was here in 2018. He's one of the OGs of the cave, and yeah, man, that's exactly what it was like. But you're actually referencing May and June of this year. Man, you've seen much worse than that, sir. You've seen much worse than that in 2018, obviously, but yeah, man, very, very similar to that. Yeah, I do agree. I kind of think that, this, if I'm giving my personal opinion on this, which, for better or worse, my personal opinion is that we're basically seeing like a mini version on this segment over here of what we saw over the summer. This is your major high. This is your major high. Took about 3 months. This one took about a month. Probably takes about a month over here too, if it is going to be bullish, to be fair. Eligio Villa says, hey, best of the best to you as well, man. I like it. It's a nice little acronym. Algo. Okay. I'm guessing that this one probably did break down, or at least I'd be very surprised if it did not. It did not. Holy shit. Wow. This is incredible, actually. Now, look, this is not an endorsement of this thing, but we've seen this one hold this range for such a long time now. It's the same range as before. Nothing's changed here. And I have the same thing to say as before. And guess what? Saturday's move just led to another higher low. As long as you're above there, I actually would still be biased towards an upside resolution over a long time, or over a long enough period of time. The conditions for that is still the same. I need to see a daily above about 215.5, and then yeah, I'd be looking for a big bad move to the upside yet again. That'd be rather interesting. Now, of course, this one will destroy its bullishness below 155, so that's an invalidation. And at that point, you're very likely to retest this 125 wick low or so. But until then, man, another example of one of the more strong ones, relatively speaking. Short-term time frames, like a 4 hour, or you asked for a 6 hour actually. Fine right here. I mean, working off extreme conditions, but this would be a corrective bounce. So again, I don't think it's doing anything super interesting short term, but fine as long as it holds above about $1.55, $1.50 on a daily. Actually, nothing's literally changed here. And the last time we looked at this one was like maybe a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Very interesting, man. Thank you for calling these ones out, because these are very interesting for me to look at, and perhaps useful for the community as well. Jacob Zummalen says, Bear Jesus looks at XRP and it crumbles. Yeah, man, it doesn't really take too much to get that one down. Khalifa says, morning, sir. Hey, what's up, man? HTR. Okay, so this is Hathor. All right. See how this one held up. I'm guessing not too well, seeing as Rune got absolutely wrecked. And I don't know, maybe I'm just biased that those have similar names. But yeah, we're actually not going to have bearish divergence on a weekly, to be fair. Probably a little bit too new of a chart. 5 day, probably a little bit too new of a chart as well, but does have a head and shoulders on 5 day RSI, which is not great. I do think that you will test at minimum like 90 cents before trying for maybe another low. Daily, does that line up with anything? No, just structure in this case. Yeah, I'm actually not really getting too much from this one. So you do have a technical breakdown, obviously. I'm probably looking at one more drive lower. Yeah, we're not popping anything on a weekly, so 5 days bet that we can do. Probably somewhere around 90 cents, and I'd be looking for a bounce there. Again, don't confuse bounce with a reversal. If this one is going to reverse, it's probably not happening anytime soon. You know, probably put in a lot of, at least like a few weeks of sideways around that 90-cent region. But I guess the hopium does stay alive for an uptrend on a weekly, as long as you're above about 78.5 cent on a weekly closure. But yeah, that would imply that you're going to test somewhere down around there, and well, pray to Bula Jesus that it holds up, or pray to Bara Jesus for mercy. 4 hour, we can do that as well. 4 hours of breakdown and continuation right now. It's not fucking good. It's continuation of current trend, and current trend is to the downside on the 4 hour. Let's see. Phantom Black 91 says, can you chart link? Yeah. So we said last week if this one broke below, I think it was $25, we'd be looking for just under $20. And let's see where we're at now. Actually, we are just below $20 now, and Link is really just looking not great, man. This one's personally painful to watch, just because you know, I watched Link on the come up all the way from 2018 to kind of, you know, 2021, and this one's just been weak ever since, man. Very, very weak. So what are we looking at here? Well, you didn't give me any time frame, so I'm going to go with a daily in this case. It's not good in the short-term time frames either. I'm probably looking at one more sweep around your current lows. 4 hours continuation. Again, probably looking at, I mean, I just have to be looking down still. I think that you're gonna be coming into a bounce very, very soon here. Bounces probably come somewhere around 17 to 17 and a half or so. But again, don't confuse bounce with a reversal. And this one, you know, same highs right there. We potentially might have the same lows. I guess the biggest hopium I could give you is this, but this is hopium right here. This is pure and unadulterated hopium right here. Would be something like this. So I guess you just wouldn't want to see a weekly closure below like $17. Look, I don't, I wouldn't trust this one to hold up if Bitcoin breaks down. I'll put it that way. And below $17, it's like there, or 16 and a half especially. There's no more hopium anymore. You know, next major moves down over the following months down to like $10 or so. It would not be great. I guess the short-term hopium is that you pop back above, let's call it 25, the breakdown level from last week. And that would be, you know, your bear trap. I don't think it's very likely, but that's what would be required, at least for me, to get bullish on this thing once again, or at least buys towards more immediate upside. Until then, not great, man. And a very unfortunate one to see, in fact. There is one other thing, maybe. We would have hidden bullish evidence if it does put in a higher low than this low right here. Fair enough. Again, bit of hopium right there, but it's got a lot of work to do. Mr. Gululi is back. What's up, man? Mana, BTC, daily and weekly. Yeah, let's see where this one's at. It's taking this long for somebody to ask about it too, but the Bitcoin pairing specifically, let's see where it currently is, and it looks like it's put in a major high. So you saw this on the US dollar pairing many times. You see extremes on weekly and higher term time frame volatility, and we're seeing that right here. And you're also seeing, I'm guessing, bearish divergence on the weekly. Actually, no, you're not, in fact. So let's see, what about the 5 day? 5 day would have an ever so slight amount of it between this high and this high. Yes, so that is relevant. And this does look like a high right here. And I do think that this one will eventually come down to about 43 to 4,400 or so and try for a low there. Daily, bearish as long as you're below about 8,400. Above 8,400, this one would look good again for what it's worth. I don't think that's what's happening right now, but that'd be kind of my invalidation. Until then, I'm probably looking for a fill of the Saturday wick down somewhere around 6,000 satoshis. I'm probably looking for lows somewhere around here. Not great, man. Not great in the short term. Long term, you know, great, but this thing could come all the way down to like 3,000 satoshis and it'd still just be another higher low on a macro breakout. So that's the problem with going to the moon, as we were saying before, is well, typically the way you go up is the way you come down. And even if you set in a higher low, it'd still be a fucking just nasty as hell move to the downside, man. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was helpful. Oh, you sold. Okay, so you sold early and looking for a good place to go back in. So you're in a position of power. That's amazing, man. And I've been seeing a lot of people comment stuff like this. And I just want to give a massive shout out to all the people who did do something like that. You know, that's really, really good trading. When you sell, you know, even if it's not like the perfect all-time high, you don't need to fucking sell the perfect high in order to make money. In fact, if I'm trend trading, which, you know, I've actually been doing more of recently, if I catch even 70% of the move, I consider that like very, very good. That's like ideal. I'm not looking to catch 100% of the move. You know, only one person gets to buy the low and only one person gets to sell the high. So, you know, perfection, don't let the enemy of perfection don't try to be perfect because it's better that if you can still be profitable, that's obviously the idea. And yeah, you're in a position of power, as are many of the people that I've seen commenting in this community, which is just fucking phenomenal. That is really, 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 really good trading. And you really have to like focus on that, because it's one of the most difficult things for a lot of people to kind of understand, myself included in this equation yet again here. It's really fucking awesome, man. So yeah, that's great. That's fucking great. And I expect that you will get, you know, some pretty amazing entries with a bit of patience here. Nico Senpai says, NVIDIA. Okay. All right. NVIDIA. Is this one breaking down too? I guess it is a tech. So all the techs get to break down. Putting in a bit of a high right here. Yes. Again, extremes on weekly BBWP. This thing can correct, you know, heavily, but it'd still be macro bullish. You know, even coming down to 285 is fine. Even coming down to 250 is completely fine. Probably just be another higher low. But yeah, I do think that you are putting in a high right here, and I do think that you are going to be trading down from here. If that's the question. Your question is quite literally more downside in the next day or two. And I'm probably looking for this one to come down somewhere around about 285 to 290. Does it happen in the next day or two? I never really feel too comfortable answering like a full-on question like that, because I don't, there's no way to actually know. But yeah, man, not great. I appreciate that, PG, but again, we can't do any super chats after the buzzer hit, which hit about 20 minutes ago. So unfortunately, we can't get to that. Gary Cazelli says, can we look at VeChain, short term and long? As always, it would be much better to just put in a time frame there. But you know what? I think I understand what you mean. Probably daily and 4 hour. And down we go on the daily. And down we go on the 4 hour. Do you want me to look at another time frame? Let's go to a weekly. Oh! Bear Jesus is back for your VeChains. I heard that they were going to have some sort of contract with the Chinese government. But no! The contract was to sell! To fucking sell, man. Yeah, pretty ugly. You know, it's going to have a bounce relatively soon here, but again, do not confuse bounce with a reversal. Heavily bearish on the 4 hour, as long as you're below about 9.8 cent. Very, very ugly. Very fucking ugly. It's whale manipulation, says Philson.
Yes, whales manipulate your VeChains for ultimate gains.
You're going to be using our VeChains to count shit on the blockchain. That's right. We're going to count shit on the blockchain.
And we just manipulate it.
On the ball!
Again, very likely to bounce soon, but I don't think, I would not confuse bounce with reversal. Heavily bearish, as long as you're below about 12 cents or just below 12 cents. You know, again, it's more likely to fill around your wick lows than not after a move like that. And then you probably get your bounce. So maybe one more drop to the downside and then you get a bounce. Again, bounce is not a reversal. I would not call a reversal anytime soon, especially as long as you're below. I mean, what did I say earlier? Like 12 cents? I might even move that up to like 13 cents or so. It's going to take some time at best. If this thing even is bullish long term, it's going to take time, a lot of time. Daniel Garcia says FET USD daily chart. Sure. FET USD. Another terrible chart. Another just god-awful chart. But long-term, not bad. Actually, long-term, quite good. I would be looking for a big bounce somewhere around about 49 cents. Somewhere around about 49 cents in this case. And maybe that even is a major low. But for right now, that implies short-term downside continuation. You are just about to break your daily range right here, too. In fact, I'd say it's probably just about broken already. See if the 4 hour already broke it. Yeah, I believe it did. It looks like it. No, technically it's not, but it's about 17 minutes away from doing that. looking down first, and then a bounce there, and the hoping is that you get a higher low there. So not great though. Many drops of bearish divergence on the weekly. So yeah, 55 at minimum, which would be about 49 cents or so. Cool. Big bidness. Nice name. Can you look at 7-day buffer finance? That's a weekly, sir. IBFR. It looks like it's not on TradingView. I'd be happy to look at it, man, but unfortunately it's not on TradingView, and that's what we're looking. That's how we judge them, man. Maybe I can try typing it in. Buffer finance. Nah, nothing relevant is popping up, man. So apologies on that. I know it's frustrating, but it's not on TradingView. So it's either very, very new, or maybe it's just like the worst of the worst. But I'm gonna go with it's probably very new. Miko's Adventure says Flux or Crow. We did Crow, so we'll do Flux, I guess. At least I don't think we've done Flux. The Flux on KCoin. Another one that looks pretty damn toppy right here. We looking for bounces soon? Yes, I do think so. Probably around the weekly 21 in this case, which is just a fair bit lower at about 89 to 90 cents. Now, would I be calling a low there? Well, maybe like a daily low, but not a reversal necessarily. Again, very likely to be trending down for a while. Personally speaking, I do think that this one would come down somewhere around 70 to 75 cents overall after a bit of a bounce. I think it was at, about 90 cents. Just depends what time frame you're looking at there. I love you as well, sir, but no time frame given, so you don't really love me now, do you? Short-term downside angle, man. I think that's probably scale charts. Did you say scale? I don't scale charts. I don't know what you're referencing. Do I use scale charts or normal charts? I use I use the only charts that I'm aware of, which are charts. I don't know what scale chart is, man. Maybe I have like a different word for that or something, but. Okay. Yeah, not a big, this is a technical breakdown right here, man. Likely to trade lower over time. JSNM says, can we take a look at block? Okay, remember this one last week? I'm going to guess that this one just absolutely got bouquet because it got rejected so many fucking times at the top end of its structure there, and it comes all the way back down. Yep. But not as bad as many other things, to be fair. Broke about every level on my way down there. So let's see. Okay, so we had that one. Let's see. Did this measure move get hit? I'm guessing so. Yeah. Pretty much right to the T there too. I would be looking for bounces. Well, hold on. Then I looked at the full round. That's not great. There is no weekly on this chart, man. Again, if the chart's only been around for a couple months or even just less than let's say a couple years at minimum, there's no weekly, man. There is no weekly. There's no 5-day either. There's barely even a daily. Can barely even populate a 55 exponential. We can go down to a 4-hour. I do think that you're looking for bounces basically around this 7-cent region, but look, you need 2 trend lines on this one in this case. One right there at 6.8, one right here, the rejection from before, 1375. As long as you're between there, I guess the hoping is that you're putting a higher low somewhere above basically 7 cents. That would look good. But again, just like the other ones, like at best, this one's gonna be trading sideways for a while within this range. And if it does turn up bullish, it's gonna be something like that. If it turns out bearish, you're probably gonna bounce here and then break below about 7 cents. And at that point, I guess I'd be looking long-term towards 3.5 cents or so. But yeah, unfortunately, not really much of a weekly to be looking at right there. And I do think that you're going to be putting in a local low here on the short-term timeframes relatively soon. I just don't know if that's relevant to you. I'm guessing not, seeing as you're trying for a weekly on something like this. DERC weekly. Uh-oh, we're going to run into the same issue. It's the same person. All right, D-Race token. Is this like a socially acceptable one? D-Race token? Not much on a weekly, man. Again, can't even less than the one before. Daily's okay, I guess. Probably looking for bounces around this region, but again, don't look. I feel like I'm feeding you a hope, man. This is garbage. This is fucking awful. It's fucking awful, man. Is it likely to bounce here? Probably yes. This thing can bounce back up to like $5.50, and I'd still say that it looks just god awful, man. Long term, does this thing come down to like $3 or just below $3? Probably yes. Yeah, there's really not much of a weekly there. 5 days, same thing. 4-hour. Yeah, probably gonna bounce here. Maybe even the bounce brings it back up to like 5.5, 5.6 here, so that'd be fine. Maybe I shouldn't be so aggressive on this one. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on this one, but here's what I'd say. Look, if you get a bounce right here and over the next 1.5 to 2 weeks, you see a move back above about 6.25, that would look good. I don't think that's what's happening. I think that's a shit ton of hopium right there, but you probably are more likely to bounce from this region than not, to be fair. So shouldn't be like super bearish right here, at least in the short term. But if you're asking about the long term, I'm suspect that you're looking for like long-term moves, and I do think that this one's more likely to probably, after a bit of a bounce, come back down. But I don't feel too confident on a chart like this, especially when you're asking for a long-term analysis of something that's been around for, just a few months here. I really should say that I don't have a good opinion on this, and a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer. So I think I'll just leave it right there. Murillo Design says Zero, please. Yep, we got that one, so all good there. Yahav Kane says, can you do Hood stock? I have a $25 call expire. Okay, so you bought the lottery ticket. You bought the lottery ticket on fucking Robinhood. Oh man. Yeah, that thing's all fucking premium, baby. Sir. Wait, I have an idea. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Fuck, I have a great idea for next stream though. Oh my god. Oh, I have the best idea for next stream. Well, the good thing is your losses are limited to the premium that you paid. Wow. Bought the fucking lottery ticket. I think I'll just leave it right there. But I mean, look, even if you go in the money, which you have a couple weeks to do. Yeah, you have a couple weeks to do. Even if you go in the money, you still need to make up your premium as well. This is why buying fucking options is just a loser's game, in my opinion. I really do think that. This is coming from a former market maker, authorized trader. Like, options were created to be sold. But nowadays you got Robinhood, and you got a few people getting rich off of buying some shit, some shit options. And well, I don't know. That makes me want to check out GameStop and AMC. GameStop, please respond. Wrecked. AMC, please respond. Mega wrecked. That one actually broke its formation too. Great. Probably going to bounce there, but bounce leads to continuation most likely. Gabe Patel says, need some major hoping for Cardano short term. Man, you're asking the unthinkable, sir. Cardano hopium. Holy shit, we already hit around my $1 target based off the 155 break. So the hopium short term. Okay, I believe with its future, it is severely oversold. Right, there's no such thing. There is no such thing as oversold or overbought in trading markets. You are trending to the downside. Oversold is a lie. Support is a lie. There is only tears. And now you must bow down to bear Jesus. There is no opium here. Cardano is a piece of shit. It's been a piece of shit for months and months and months. And you know what? Bear Jesus has dildos, red dildos, both very bright variety colors in both hands, and he's ready to shish kebab your Angus all the way back down to 115, baby! Look, I'm not trying to make fun of you, man, and I'm not trying to rain on your parade here or make you feel worse than what it already is. Is there such thing as oversold? No, there is not. In trading markets, you can always get more and more oversold. You'll end up being like one of these guys who's like, "Hey, bro, you see that RSI? That RSI is quite low, and I read on Investopedia that when it's low and below 30, we're oversold. And I just went to the weekly chart here, and what the fuck? It's still above 30. Oh my God, this thing's wrecked. It is very likely to bounce here, though. I don't think that you're actually going much lower than where you're already at, to be fair. Actually, I really don't think that you are going much lower. Hey, can you ban Anthony Colavita? Just ridiculous person. He doesn't like laughing apparently on the internet. Crazy. Yeah. We need to clear people from the community out like that. That'd be great. Okay, cool. Look, I actually don't think that you're going to be going much lower than $1. I do think that you're going to probably test around there again, a few times, but I do think that the monthly probably does bounce from there. Now, here's the thing: your monthly is also in a reversal posturing, but is it likely to bounce? If your question is quite literally, where can I be looking for a bounce? That's kind of where I'm looking for. How high can the bounce get you? I think maybe back to $1.50, $1.60 would be okay. But again, this is hopium, and if you're purely asking for hopium, I'll give you hopium with the caveat that this is hopium. This is a very bad chart long term. Very bad chart long term, and it's very likely to test down to about $1 again at some point, maybe in the next month or two, and then I'd be looking for a big bounce After that big bounce, it'll be very, very telling. If the bounce gets back above, let's say $2, that'd be quite good. If it just gets to like $1.50, $1.60, and then fails there, then you're probably looking at a macro breakdown long term, like coming into middle of next year or so. I don't have an opinion on what happens, but if you're just purely asking about hopium, the hopium is that you will have bullish divergence here after playing out the hidden bearish divergence. Oh my God, this is terrible. This is really bad. Look, you do have a redistributed pattern right here, short term, if that's what you're asking for. And it's pointed back down to about $1.15, $1.16. You probably bounced there. So maybe that's helpful to you. Maybe it's not. Monthly, you're in a lot more of a bouncy area than not. But again, do not confuse bounce with reversal. I feel like you're looking for a long-term reversal, and it could just as easily be something like this, right? Where you come back down here and then you fail on a lower high, and then you have a monthly lower high, and then you come back down to lows. That's distribution at that point, and then this thing probably breaks back down to like a quarter or 40 cents. Fair enough, and again, I'm not trying to just, be rude to you or anything like that. It's just, if I'm directly answering your question, I can give you some hopium, but understand that hopium has low probabilities right now. Suppressive Fire says AVAX general overview. I think we looked at this one earlier. Maybe we just briefly go back to it. Yeah, we did look at this one earlier. We said probably test around probably test around the lows from Saturday. I think that's what we're getting right now, and then I would be looking for bounces from there. So it's very, very close to a bounce, but again, similar to Cardano, but certainly not as well, nowhere near as bad as Cardano, to be fair. I should not even use that terminology. Do not confuse bounce with reversal. I do think that you at minimum come down to about $70 before trying for a potential major low, and even then, I really want to see that one in real time. I appreciate the likes on the video, BMac. Yeah, man, we're almost at 2,000 likes, and we got 2,400 people watching right now. It's just insane. I don't know how to interpret this. It's fucking incredible, but thanks everyone for joining in. Apologies for the nonsense. And Mr. 3 Reefer, oh man, you've been waiting for a long time. I apologize, dude. CGG, okay, Chain Guardian. So we looked at this one like a week and a half ago. It was pretty damn good a week and a half ago, and I think that we even got our move a week and a half ago, but this one's failing now. And failing harshly, yeah. Okay, so we did have, oh, thank God. Okay, vindicated on that. Thank God for fucking vindication right there. Otherwise, I would have felt really, really bad about this one. Now, kind of similar to the other ones, you're very, very close to a bounce here. Does it come down a little bit lower first, maybe around, actually, this one's breaking down today. Didn't break down on Saturday. That's weird. Actually held up relatively well on Saturday. Very interesting right there. I wasn't expecting that, actually. Anyways, you're looking at a 4-hour and a daily. Daily, I do think that you try for another low around your range lows, which is in the low 80 cent region, between about 85 to 90 cents, let's call it. Or sorry, it's more like 85 to 90 cents or so. And I would be looking for another bounce around there. If this thing is going to be bullish, you just want to see it kind of hold up above this prior like 85 cent low region long term. And to be fair, I mean, it's not holding up well today, but it was over the weekend. That's actually rather interesting. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you. So a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer in this case. You're a lot closer to a bounce here in this case, and I'd just be looking at these levels down here again, somewhere around about 85 to 90 cents or so. Tries for a bounce there, probably going to take some time. I would really only get like super bearish on this one below about 85 cents on a daily closure, and at that point I'm looking for big moves to the downside, big red dollars after that. But for right now, I guess you give it a chance. It was stronger before. Then again, am I feeding you hopium here? I mean, we did take out the last higher low on middle of November, so that'd be the counterpoint to what I'm saying. That would say that this is already put in a major high right now. Still need a lower high at that point as well, which we do not have. So it'd just be lower high watch for the next bounce, which would be anywhere below $2 essentially. Okay. Common Sense says, hey bro, thanks man. Hey, just a nice positive message. Thank you, man. I salute you and I appreciate that. Thank you a lot. Mayor says, good morning, Krown. Good morning, Cheeser. Only thing I'm bullish on here is the community you're building here. Awesome, man. When Cave token, man, I'm trying to avoid the SEC, so maybe no shitcoins for me. But I will not publicly endorse anything. But hey, if people want to go ahead and do it, go for it, man. Go for it. CRV USD. Okay, this one was pretty damn good the last couple weeks. I think we got our first target right there and a second target right there, basically. And this one actually is holding up relatively well. Yeah, relatively well. I would actually still be long-term bullish on this thing as long as you're above 270. Now, when I look at the weekly, is that very likely to be happening? Not really. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit of hopium here. And this one short term, very likely to try another move down about 3.25 and try a bounce there. I feel like I'm feeding you a little bit of hopium here. While it does still hold the range lows, it's like I don't think it's looking too strong here. I do think that this one will eventually come back down to like 270 and try for a major low there. And actually would still like it long term if it did something like that, but that would obviously imply, you know, some new lows on top of it as well. Okay, Gemini Athlete says got miss on BAT 4 hour and daily. Okay. Symbol BAT, I'm guessing. Okay, we got this. And this one was actually on the winners list yesterday, it looks like. Yeah, it actually closed the day green. Nice. Not bad. Well, I guess most things did, but didn't really give up too much from Saturday. In fact, salvaged most of the wick right there. And you know what? I guess I look at this as a higher low in the making right here. We do have hidden bullish evidence available, so I do treat it as such until proven otherwise. And what would prove it otherwise? Well, in this case, I guess this chart actually still works right here, but I would feel more confident moving this up, or I think it's just relevant to move this up a little bit as long as you're above about a buck 05. I do look at this as a higher low in the making, confirmation of continuation to prior all-time highs and new all-time highs above about 145 in this case. One of the better acting ones here, in fact, one of the better acting ones, so perhaps worth paying attention to. 4 hour, just ranging for right now, not really anything super interesting right there. Probably does play out one more swipe of your downside range. It's fine. Mr. King Cosmic, good morning to you, man. Peace and love to you as well, sir. Peace to both of us. Peace to everyone here. Let's see. So SPY. Yeah, we didn't look at this one earlier. Let's see what we got. 45.58. Looks like another lower high on the 4 hour, and we do not have hidden bearish evidence, so that's a good sign, I guess. This one actually is holding up a little bit better than NASDAQ, which is interesting. What about the weekly? I do think some point this week you're going to see a test towards 44.90. Probably does try for a bounce there. I would call a bear trap above 46.10. I mean, we did have a target from Friday, so that is good, but that's the exact area you didn't want to see it reject from. It's the exact fucking area you didn't want to see it reject from. Wow. Yeah, so again, short term, I have to be bearish as long as you're below about 4,600 or so, even on an hourly closure, and probably looking at one more test down towards 44.90 or so, and then probably bounce there and then come back to it after that. Other than that, I don't feel too compelled by this one. This one does show continuation long term to the downside for what it's worth. In this case, about 44.50. About 44.50 is probably where I'd be looking for long term, but first things first, I'd probably be looking for a bounce somewhere around 44.90. See if the bounce maybe puts in a bear trap. It's not looking very likely right now, but I'd want to keep open the possibilities, at least for the time being. Mr. Rubio says, can you check out EGLD? Sure, man. EGLD. Okay, here we go. Hey James, we actually did Matic a few times, and we had to shut off the super chats earlier. If you read the pinned message. Okay, EGLD. Yeah, we spoke about this one last week. We said major high, macro high is probably in. We do have 4 drives of bearish divergence right there. Hit extremes on daily BBWP, if memory serves me correctly. Yes, we did. I'm looking for a bounce relatively soon, probably around about the 250 to 255 region. But any sort of a bounce that fails, this is not helpful, man. But any sort of a bounce that fails to get back above $400 is just a lower high. And it very likely is going to bounce from here, and probably bounce significantly. I mean, bouncing to 330 to 350 is not out of the question at all. But I do think that you have a major high in here, and I do think that long term you come down to about $200 or so. Oh, there he is, Dodgymon. What's up, Dodgymon? Simcoin CEO, right here, right now. John Brooks says VRA, please. Sure. Okay. VRA USD. Okay. Veracity. Very similar chart actually to the EGLD in this case. I do think that you're getting ready for a bounce somewhere around about 3 cents. Short term. Yeah, still breaking down here. So I do think you have maybe one more wick to the downside, somewhere just below 3 cents, and then probably tries for a bounce on the weekly. You didn't really give a time frame for that, so I don't really know where to go with it. Can bounces come back up to 4.5 cents? Yeah. But well, let's just leave it at that. I'm looking for a bounce somewhere just around 3 cents, even just maybe slightly below there, and then we'll come back to it after that. Allison Westbrook says thoughts on Jasmy, target bounce for reentry. Oh, were you reading the YouTube comments? Because there's a shit ton of like Russian I'm guessing they're Russian, maybe they're Chinese. Who knows what the fuck they are? Maybe they're American. I don't know. There's been a bunch of bot like shilling of this one Jasmy, so that's usually a bad sign. And well, you're asking for a bounce target. I I don't have a bounce target here because this thing is not bouncing. This thing is looking like continuation to the downside for right now. I'm probably looking for this one to come back down somewhere around about 10 cents or so, just around 10 cents, and that's where I'd be looking for maybe on a bounce. But look, I feel like I'm shooting you hopium here, Allison, because you didn't give a time frame, so maybe if you're just looking for like very short-term time frame bounces, maybe that's relevant. But this looks like shit to me for what it's worth. Yeah. 5-day looks like it's about to enter into like a major breakdown. I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing not just like at 10 cents, which I probably would be looking at 10 cents for a bit of a bounce. But that's right, John Austin. The more emoticons that you use, the more likely Bitcoin goes up. Long term, I do think that this thing comes down to like 6-5 cents, for the next few months here. But at least for right now, if you're looking for a bounce, I'm probably looking for a bounce maybe somewhere around, what was it? Somewhere around like 10, maybe 11 cents. Let's see, what does a 4 hour look like? Just ugly, very, very bad, very, very bad. So where's the hopium though? Where's the hopium on something like this? Okay, so I would change my opinion around on something like this, and I'd actually be bullish on something like this, I guess, above 17 cents. I don't think it's very likely, but that would be my validation. Bitcoin's popping up right now, so for a little bit of a bounce, maybe it helps it out. But bounce targets. Well, first things first, we got to initiate a bounce, and I don't think that we're on a bounce right now just yet. I think this one trades a little bit lower before finding a bounce. And after that, bounces can come back up to like 14, 15 cents. I'm not even saying that's going to get there. This thing's very, very weak, it looks like. But as long as you're below there, not great. Again, hopium is above 1730. Above there, things look quite good. For what it's worth, I don't think it's happening, but hey, that's what I'd say about that. Again, a chart that I should say as well, Allison, that I don't feel very confident on. And here Bitcoin comes. Here, actually, those emoticons worked. It's going to 50,000. It's going to 50,000 right now. Hey, there we go. It's a little bit of a trap situation, kind of. Need to see it trade back above and close above about 50,000. That would look actually okay for short-term continuation. That actually looked quite good. Let's see. Ben0613 says XCAD. Sure. XCAD. Okay. Bitcoin moving. Bitcoin moving and mooning. No time frames given. This is actually the last one too. Let's see. All right, 4 hour.
Is it the last one?
It is the last one, yeah. I am looking for a local low somewhere around about 710 and probably bounce there. Bounce come back up to 760, 7.5 to 760 or so, and then I want to come back to it after that. Long term, well, this is a 4 hour. Actually, daily, like long term, one of the better charts that we've seen is held up relatively well. So fair enough. But on a next move down, if it wants to have it, 690 is probably where I'd be looking for. But no time frames given, so I don't know where to go with that one. I'm looking for a bounce somewhere around here, however, first. So I don't know what time frame you're on, but if you're short term, very close to a bounce, bounces up to 750 to 770 or just lower highs. And well, long term, it does have a better chart than most, but again, Bitcoin can help it out here. That'd be good. I'd get bullish on it very easily, back up about 8. What is this? 8.25. That'd look really, really good for new all-time highs. Obviously, that would already be a new all-time highs, but this would look like one of the better ones, obviously. Until then, that's okay. Just quickly go over Bitcoin right here. Let's see what we got. All right, a little bit of hopium in the short-term time frames, looking okay. Would like to see it actually close above 50,000 bucks, but or actually more like no. Now that I look at it, the range is actually not even that low on the short-term time frames. I haven't even bothered charting out the hourly, but if I did, here would be my hourly high, 50,500. Here'd be my hourly low for a retest of your, I don't know, $46,000, $45,000 region. Until then, just sideways is not really too interesting to myself, but yeah, a little bit of hopium right there. Let's see what it looks like on CME. See what it looks like right here. CME looks a lot more like it actually could put in a decent bounce, but again, this week, I wouldn't be surprised to see both 52,000 bucks and also somewhere around 45,000 bucks, to be quite honest with you. So I think this is a good place to shut this one off. It's been an absolute pleasure though. And Ethereum is the one I really think that Ethereum is the one to be watching, because this one is just keeps on topping itself right there. Beautiful, just fucking beautiful. You almost got down to our $4,000 target from earlier. I still think you could have one more wick around there, but this is fun. That'll be fun. All right, I'm gonna be signing off now. It's been an absolute pleasure. My voice is semi-wrecked, but that's okay. It was for good reasons, and I want to wish you well. I want to wish you the best yet again. Please stay safe during these times, and always remember that no trade is a trade, and that sometimes is the best trade as well. Elsa's waving in the background because she loves you today, and I love you as well. I salute you. Take care, and see you hopefully very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, flip, unflip it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, leave it, check it, click it, and refresh it, find it, drop it, crack it, lose it, curse it, pay it, to it, pay it, bar it, shard it, hide it, fight it, deal it, seal it, and unlock it, back it, send it, change it, lend it, mine it, grind it, how it, test it, praise it, curse it, trash it, hash it, scroll it, troll it, and upgrade it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click on it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it, and repeat it, chart it, long it, short it, hedge it, post prediction, quick erase it, watch it, leave it, watch it, leave it, check it, click it, and refresh it, write it, code it, name it, read it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post